Right. Having said that, on the podcast today, we've got James Luisis. I know I was going to do that
It's a
wrong.
mouthful.
That's why I did that straight from the beginning.
A mouthful.
Let's get into it, y'all. Here we go. Bring it. Oh, no. Wait a minute. Let's do that again because I haven't done this in quite a while, and I've moved the studio, as you can tell. New studio, new space, and I screwed that up already. Let's try it again. Oh, wait. He double-clicked the button. Yeah, all right. We're going to go with that because I'm not going to do it a third time because that would just make me look really, really stupid. So there it is, dude. Welcome to the cast.
I made it.
Yeah, man. Finally.
Finally.
So one thing I realized about life quite quickly is if you want to lose friends, get yourself a podcast and start asking people to come on. Suddenly, all these people that I talk to on a weekly basis are like, sorry, Nate, can't really help you out. So it's really, really, really crazy, man, you know.
So I was determined to get it.
Yeah, it's good. Well, you got your own thing going, and we'll talk about that as well. So you're doing a gaming kind of podcast or show, I should call it. What do we classify it?
It's a gaming podcast, pretty much.
Yeah,
but it's nothing serious. It's just talk. We just basically, it's more Jack, the host's like kind of brainchild.
Is that his baby? Is it?
It's his baby because like there was in the casuals club, as we call it. Like me and a few guys played Rocket League and created a team of that, and that kind of grew into more of a community. And then I streamed Rocket League.
Okay, yeah, cool.
Another guy streamed. He's not with us anymore. Well, he is. He's not dead. Don't worry about it. I'm not trying to kill you off. He's just focused on the music. He's really good guitar, vocals, and he's got his own band. So he's moved and focused on that.
Right. So it started with 4 of you, right? And now it's kind of the 3 of you, or?
It actually started with 2 of us.
Okay.
And then it went to 3 of us. Now it's kind of back to 2 of us. But Dan, you see on the cast now, is our new co-host. And he streamed occasionally.
Now, is Dan your brother?
No.
No. For some reason, I got it in my head when I watched the first episode. I thought that's your brother. And Jack is just doing his thing.
Jack, yeah, I've known him like since I moved up from London, pretty much.
Okay.
But Dan, he came along in the Discord community.
Okay.
Got talking to him, and then
nice one.
We've got him on the casual board.
Yeah, cool. So, I mean, I'm not one to talk, right? But Jack, make your bed, bro. Yeah, that's the only thing that I can't watch on the whole thing. You know,
so
what I mean? Like
it'd be messier now you said that.
Yeah. So I'm really into gaming. So let's talk about my gaming career and how it's all started. So I retired my World Championship belt when Mario Brothers first came out in whatever it was, 1980.
35 years old this year.
Was it 1980? Something like that. 1985, right?
Yeah.
1985. So I graduated from a what is it, like a little knobby thing that was like playing tennis, Pong back and forth.
Atari 2600.
Yeah. So I had an Atari 2600. Yeah, rocked that. Made dreams come true.
They did.
And then
Invaders.
It was either the first or second Nintendo that came out. I had one of them. And Mario Brothers, living the dream.
Yeah.
I think Legends of Zelda 1 was the last time I played a video game in my life. Yeah.
As in like back then.
So I hung up. So really, there's a little bit of turbulence in the family, right? My brother was an amazing gamer many years ago, and because he absolutely put me to shame every time we brought out the console, I just stopped playing. I thought there's no reason. He's the golden child. He's the gifted one of us. I realized that my eye-hand coordination was lacking and not superior at all, and so I hung up my belt many years ago until just recently. Oh. So about 2 years ago, would it be 2 years ago if it was Fortnite Season 1?
February 2018. I think that's when it first officially properly launched.
Okay, you're hardcore, man. You're like throwing out the months and the years and stuff like that, right? So here's how it goes, right?
Yeah,
so
2 years ago. Why not?
So my daughter was like, "Yeah, I want to get an Xbox and I want to get Fortnite and this and that." And so I thought, all right, let's do it, right? So I went out and I bought this Xbox and I bought Call of Duty, whatever the latest Call of Duty was. And I go home and I'm really excited because I haven't played video games in years, and I'm like, all right, let's do this. So I put Call of Duty in the console, and I'm like, I turn it on, and there's like a training mode that shows you what are you doing, right? Like so it's like, here you go, you got to do this. This is how you play the game. It wouldn't let me out of the training mode. I couldn't actually. It was like I was.
You had to get to a certain like.
Yeah. You have to actually show that you're doing it, right? It's kind of like if you're going through a video tutorial on Adobe and it says like, oh, click this button and it won't let you go any further until you've actually done it.
Yeah.
It was one of those jobs, right? And I was so pathetic that I couldn't even get out of the training mode on Call of Duty. So I thought, oh man, I'm gonna hang up the belt and just take it from there. And anyway, so she started playing Fortnite, right? And I'm like, as most fathers are, I took the role of the coach. You know, suddenly I became Mick from the corner, going, "You got to get in there, kid. You got to do what you got to do." And I started watching her play Fortnite, right? And I'm like, okay, all right, let's give it a shot. And I started Fortnite, and I just had my ass handed to me every single day. Every time I tried to play a match of Fortnite,
The baptism of fire when you play games like that.
Mate, at that time it was like I was 99, 98, 97, like probably 99 out of 100 times when I tried doing it. And then the amazing guys at Epic Games came up with season 2, which had the bots. Okay.
Oh yeah.
And I'll never forget it, bro. Like we're sitting there, I'm doing my normal routine. I go home, I get a couple cans, I'm chilling out. I'm like, all right, there's no kids. You know, I got, you know, my little girl's like not with me all the time, every other weekend. So I'm like, this is my weekend to sit here and just try to work it out. And I pop it on, and my little boy's in bed. I put him to sleep, and I'm like, bam! Whoa! All of a sudden, I'm lighting people up like overnight, right? Like I went from being like the worst Fortnite player you've ever seen in your life to all of a sudden I'm like, holy shit! I just shot like 7 people in one game. I'm like, I don't know what's going on. I'm like, I call the missus in. I'm like, baby, check this out. I'm like, this is amazing. I'm like, I'm not sure what's happening. There must be loads of new people on here, right, playing. And it changed Fortnite for us as a family, right? And changed it for me. So I've been playing Fortnite now like probably 3 times a week, and then forget about it. Come lockdown, I've been like Fortnite, honestly, has like kind of saved how we do things. And I now see a place for it, because before I was kind of like, I don't want to say a traditionalist, but I felt real bad. Like when my kids are like sitting there, you know, on their iPad or something, or they want to play games, I'm like one of those parents that's going like, nah, man, this isn't right. You should be outside, you know, rolling a stick and a hoop down the street, that kind of thing. And what we realized, we kind of cracked the code. So I've got 2 kids and the missus. I got the missus a Switch, or we got the kids a Switch, but then the missus took the Switch, pardon me, my teeth back in. And my daughter and my son started playing on Apple. And all of a sudden we realized that we could squad up as a family in our own living room, right?
Can't do that now.
Nope. No. So leading to that, now I'm a 3-switch family, because I had to buy 2 more switches when Apple finally got their come-ups. Yeah. And you know what do you think about that? I think it's spot on personally.
I just don't know. I don't know. It's all because
keep that just a little bit closer, man, because I can't hear you there.
It's Epic. They did a discount on their V-Bucks or something like that, and then Apple like, we're not going to make as much money on it.
Well, it's actually part of a movement, you know. Like I don't know if you know this, but like so part of what I've been experiencing with building another business is I couldn't believe the percentage that a middleman like Apple takes. Yeah. Right. So you know, if you think about the 2 main players in the game now, you've got Android and you've got Apple. Yeah. And for them to take 30% of everything you do as a developer for life, just because you hold the platform. Just because they turn one thing on their platform. I know it's not obviously that simple, but for me, I think well done to Epic for really taking a stand and going, look, guys, you know, we don't mind partnership and collaboration, but 30% of our pie for you just basically
to press a button,
using your same platform and doing whatever. It's nuts, man. So well done to the cats at Epic.
But that Apple was under scrutiny as well, because it wouldn't have just affected Epic, any game developer. Or any developers developing apps. They needed the developer apps to be supported, and Apple was going to get rid of the developer apps. But that means it wouldn't have just affected Fortnite. It would have affected basically everybody who ever used them apps.
Yeah, all the new cats, all of everybody else who used their structure and their platform.
The Apple have said that they're keeping all developer apps, so that's fine.
Which is good.
Still got the thing with Epic, but no one else is affected.
Yeah, man, but I think they need to look at their percentages. I think they need to look at what they take as part of the pie. You know, like I get Apple, you know, have this amazing platform and this structure like Android, and Android as well. This goes for Android too, right? I'm not like Apple bashing or anything like that. You know, I love what they do, and I've got an iPhone. I love it. Yeah. But you know, as someone who would like to be in business and have an app and have a website and all that kind of stuff, right? Like I realize that, the middleman is what has usually made business work for many years, right? That's the idea of business. There's a middleman in the middle who helps you facilitate what you want. So I get that. But I can't take these large companies like Apple or like companies like Just Eat. Bro, it drives me nuts. Now, on one hand, you can open up a takeaway, and you can be just as high as anybody else on the street when you've just opened. And then on the other hand, once you're set up and you're on there, and they're taking their 13 to 15 or 16% or whatever it is from you, I really feel like I don't know. Again, I think there's like a movement we should have. I think it just becomes ridiculous, right? Anyway, that's me ranting. That was my rant about Apple and Epic Games. But so
you could become so big as a company. I suppose if you're like you say, Just Eat, they do rely on.
Yeah,
that. But if you're a big like Apple, and they lose Epic, it's like it's fine.
Yeah, exactly.
Global net worth is $2 trillion.
And I'm sure that's affected the whole. Look, Epic has changed stock markets, right? Epic has changed stock prices of Sky and the likes of cable providers and stuff like that all over the world.
They're shaking up the gaming world like industry, where it will be if we wanted to go out and buy the new Call of Duty or something like that, we're looking at 40, 50 quid.
Yeah, man.
But now it's like the games now that make most money cost you nothing to buy.
Yeah, but having said that, bro, I've spent more money on skins,
exactly,
and stuff like that for Fortnite.
You think it's like Fortnite online is free to play?
Yeah. All right, yeah. Sorry, I haven't tied that up yet, mate. Sorry about that. It's very annoying when that happens.
Yeah, it's free to play, so you don't mind dropping like £1 here, £8 there.
A quid, yeah. I was going to say $6.99 and the rest.
Adds up.
I have now there's a story behind the Battle Pass. So I refused to buy a Battle Pass this season. Come hell or high water, I wasn't going to buy a Battle Pass. But my account is the account that holds all the V-Bucks so that I can buy skins and stuff for the kids and for family and friends and things like that. And my son went on and bought the Battle Pass yesterday. He said, "Dad, can I play on the Xbox?" And I said, "Yeah." And then I turned around and he was just smiling. And I was like, "What did you do?" And he bought the Battle Pass and kind of did me over. But I don't begrudge any of it because it's amazing.
Yeah.
One of the coolest things about gaming and online gaming for me, right, is the connectivity of
the social aspect.
of
it's
it.
Amazing.
As you know, my family and everybody are back in America, and we now can connect.
Yeah.
We can get in the same squad. We can play together and talk to each other.
You're having a phone call whilst playing the game.
Yeah, my brother and his two oldest kids, they're on Fortnite, and so last night I spent like an hour and a half just playing Fortnite with them and talking, and it was just incredible. Yeah, it's amazing, man.
It's great. Like through lockdown, it was a saving grace. Like I don't know what we'd have done without gaming, and we'd had this community up and running by the back end of last year, and like we've playing with a few guys anyway that all like started up with us. Like we've got 3 guys in Florida, we've got a guy in Denmark, a guy in the Netherlands.
Right. Okay. So just backtrack again. When you say this community and this thing, are you talking about the casual?
Yeah, casual club.
Right. So this casual club, is this your brainchild or what is this? This is
it's a few of us. Just you know what Discord is?
Nope.
So Discord is basically
like Discord is in like tension Discord or like
no.
We're talking about gaming.
So it's a social app website. You can download it, create your own server.
All right. Okay.
Where people. So we're streaming. So Jack will put on there like if he types Discord in his chat or you type Discord in the chat, get a link. Click on the link, you'll be taken to our Discord page, which is our community page.
Okay, and that's what you put on the YouTube, right? Or no, that's a little something different.
No, that'd be under link underneath as well, probably.
Yeah,
but in it, we've got chats like just memes. We've got general chat. We've got chats for like Smash Brothers, Rocket League. I think Animal Crossing's there as well.
Really? Okay.
All right. So they've got specific chats and people communicate with each other, making new friends, start playing with new people.
Okay,
and
interesting, man.
Voice chats as well. So we've got multiple voice chats where we can click in and out and just join the chat.
Very interesting. I've never heard of it. This is the first. This is a first for me.
It's actually the best way to play your Nintendo Switch if you want to communicate.
Right. Okay.
Because Nintendo's got their own mobile app where because they don't have like PlayStation, Xbox, where you can speak to each other by party chat. They have a mobile app you download, and it is awful. So Discord is basically where people go.
And they're third party completely, are they? Or
yeah.
Wow, that's cool.
Very, very popular, massively.
That's the first time I've ever heard of it. I never heard of it.
But we'll casual report topics as well. So people in the community that watch Casual Report will see something on Twitter or the news that we might not know about, or they'll drop in something they want to talk about on it, or they want covered.
All right, cool, man. So how big is the Casual Report now on this Discord? Is there loads of you? Like a couple hundred? 50?
I can't tell you.
30?
I've actually not looked at it. There's probably about 50 to 100.
Wow, that's cool.
70 people on, probably, from all walks of life and things like that.
Very
But
cool,
we have like the regulars that are more active than others, and then the pepperings of some that come in and out every so often.
Right. Okay.
That's great.
So this gaming thing is, to me, it's revolutionary in a way.
Yeah.
The talent, bro, that these guys have is like, it's insane.
It's mental.
Like, so my background being a musician and stuff, I always kind of fancied my hand-eye coordination as not being that bad. But when you see some of the talent that these guys like this, I don't know if I'm speaking. I don't want to say the wrong thing about any kind of gaming community here, man. I don't want people reaching out to me. But like, my son watches this Typical Gamer Cat all the time on Fortnite.
Okay.
And man, this guy's like talented, man. He's like
These are the guys that can like build structures, like in
he's like building buildings, and he's like driving a Lamborghini, and he's got like his gaming channel's like 10 million strong.
Yeah, it's like mental now. How now like people. I don't know, suppose maybe when I was younger, so I was born late 80s, I grew up with Super Nintendo and things like that, and like thinking like, oh, imagine being paid to play games.
It's insane.
And now you can. I mean, it's a very, very tough thing to do and get into. The market and all that is so saturated with Twitch and YouTube and things like that. It's a massive like 1,000,000 to 1 shot that you would even get enough to live on or if you didn't have a job and things like that. But the fact that you can nowadays is crazy.
Yeah.
And now you've got esports.
Yeah, sure, man. Yeah, very cool.
And other than it didn't happen this year, the Olympics, it was going to be in the Olympics in Japan. Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know that.
But you can get paid very, very handsomely for just being a pro player.
Yeah. It's nuts.
Crazy.
I mean,
crazy money.
Fantastic times we live in. What fantastic times.
Who'd have thought?
Yeah, man. Like, it's nuts. So you do a couple of those tournaments, right? Like, so all right, forgive me as well. Right? I'm a troglodyte. I'm like, I don't know what I'm talking about. But occasionally I'll watch your Twitch stream on Instagram where you're playing the driving one, where you're like in the arena and Rocket League and driving around and stuff.
Yeah.
That's the same thing, right? You guys like, so.
Yeah. So the kind of Rocket League is where the community was born from.
Yeah, it's so much better when you're closer to that.
Sorry. Yeah, Rocket League was kind of where it was born from. Like there was myself, G Grant, we call him, and
G Dog. Shout out.
And then we had Travis and his brother Ryan from Florida.
Right. Okay.
There was the 4 of us that just played constantly. We met them because I went away for 2 weeks, and G just went onto a website, like a forums website, asking like, my teammates away, I need someone to play with. And along came Ryan and Travis, and then we played for them, and we have been ever since, basically. But time difference is a bit of an awkward thing sometimes.
I kind of just I flashed a dating app for gamers just now when you said that.
I don't know. I didn't go on it.
Right. Let's check that out before we make this podcast live. It
wouldn't surprise me if G went on then.
Yeah. No, I don't mean a dating app as in dating. I mean to find gaming partners and stuff.
It pretty much is, and they do exist.
Okay.
And so then we didn't really have it. It wasn't a team name, and we didn't play competitively. We played in our ranked mode, which means you get ranked on your ability and things like that.
Right.
So we did that, and eventually we had a name beforehand. Whale Scale, that was it. I don't know where it came from. Ryan named it. And then we set up a Facebook Messenger thing with 4 of us in it, and Ryan named it Casuals Club.
Ah, okay.
And from then, like, we had that, and then there was more and more people that were playing with us, and like on and off, we all mix and match. And then Bishop had a Discord server who he was playing with us as well, and he just rebranded it Casuals Club, and then that's we all went into that.
Very
and
cool.
We speak in that, and daily we are on that.
The rest, as they say, is history.
It is. But in Rocket League, myself, G, and Hugh, we play competitively now. We're going into our third season competitively, Rocket League, in something called Indie Gaming League.
So I'm flashing back to a. Have you seen Ballers, where they do the esport thing on Ballers in the last season?
I've only seen like 2 episodes of that.
Yeah, well, spoiler alert. Sorry.
Damn it.
Yeah, they get a couple of the professional footballers who get into gaming big time.
Oh yeah.
And they set it up. But so these professional leagues that you do.
Oh, we're not in professional.
Not professional, but
I
it's
was
a
like
league.
Amateur as you can get.
Is it all set up online, or
Yeah.
is it a travel thing? Because I can remember back in the day, like they used to, like Xbox used to have the truck that went around, and they'd set up like the events and stuff.
They kind of do that. Like if you go to, I don't think they really do it like city to city anymore, like they did with Nintendo and Xbox and things like that. If you go to expos, they do literally have buses, double-decker buses, like full of like Razor buses, ROG buses.
Man. Yeah, I've seen a lot in the
like
event
that.
space.
But in these esport events, other than 2020, they do the traveling. So, but they'll play the preliminaries and they'll qualify for what you call worlds or world finals.
Okay.
And that's where you go to a big event, big arena, and they'll sit on stage and play. We get massive screens. I went to one in Madrid last year.
I saw that. Yeah, I
It
saw
was
that on your
amazing.
Instagram. Yeah,
It
cool.
was great.
So if you would have won that one in Madrid, right? You played in it. You
Oh
guys
no, I
played?
definitely did. No.
didn't play?
That was like top dog.
Right, so you didn't even get invited. You didn't even make the prelims. You didn't even make the satellite round or whatever.
Everyone can apply for this.
Yeah, okay.
But all the same people are in it mostly.
They just don't let
cheer and
anybody
fans.
off the
They're
street
too
come
good.
in. Like it's not like you're training and you just
No.
walk in Madrid and
No.
you're like, I'm the underdog that's coming through.
I mean, the great thing is like these pros that play it that are ridiculously good at a game.
Yeah.
I'm 2 ranks off the highest rank in Rocket League.
Okay.
They're at that highest rank, and then some.
Very cool.
There's no way that someone like me would be there.
So there's no
Love
Rocky. There's no Rocky film punchline that we're going to see in the future where
No,
Yeah. Okay.
too
All right.
old. Most of the pros are like late teens, early 20s.
Yeah. Well, look, this is the way it is, isn't it? Like that Fortnite World Cup or whatever it
Yeah.
was. I watched a few things.
It's
from
very
that.
similar.
And these kids that are coming up now, man, that's like they're just like
Yeah.
That's put in their milk bottle and they're like, here you go, and they're just doing so much of it. It's great.
Yeah.
It's,
But I suppose younger people learn quicker. They can adapt. quicker,
Yeah,
I
and
suppose.
so an interesting point, I suppose, or an interesting observation for me is the the social aspects seem amazing
Mhm.
to an adult who can handle it, but I worry, and this is going to be me putting my father hat on here again. I kind of worry that it's not like a feasible way of interacting with people. For instance, I'm often the person who's on there like not getting. I'm muted on all mine.
Yeah.
But if I'm watching the kids play and they're having conversations with someone who's like cursing or whatever, it's like a window to the world that you're letting in your living room, right? I almost equate it to like I'm a big gambler, right? And gambling for me changed when I could get all those apps on my phone, and all of a sudden
right there in your hand.
Yeah, all of a sudden I didn't have to drive anywhere to gamble, right?
Yeah.
And the social interaction of gaming and the thing about gaming, although there are all these plus points, is I often get concerned about gaming addiction and like I don't know if that's a thing.
People will say it's it is. I'd imagine you can get addicted to anything, I suppose.
Yeah,
Can't you?
But that's one of my observations is like the interaction with people that you don't know. It's almost like it's almost like you know what I equate it to? You know how. I'm not trying to get into trouble here with the missus back home, and I'm not trying to get you into any trouble. But you know how when you first meet a bird or you first meet somebody who you're having a little bit of discourse with by text, and you can think about your response.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
You're like, I almost equate that kind of comfortability of once you put on a headset and you're in a gaming mode, you have a different persona. It's almost like these guys take on.
Definitely right.
Right? Yeah.
You've got a much more, I suppose some people have a lot more confidence behind a microphone or behind a keyboard.
Sure. It's like a Clark Kent kind of thing.
Yeah.
It's like, I saw it many years ago. So what do we now? This is 2020.
We are.
Obviously 2020, the year of whatever you guys want to say about it. But many years ago, I got a job working for a broadband company in America. Before I took like just like a week of this gig before I went absolutely crazy. And one of the things I was really surprised about, so I came from a sales background, and I thought, man, I'm going to go in here and I'm going to walk this. This is a broadband sales gig online, you know, I'm good to go. And I instantly realized that I didn't have a snowball's chance of hell of selling anybody anything online. But one of the observations that I had from that, and one of the coolest things that I realized, was there were all these people, right, that you wouldn't picture. I'm talking like, just picture Marge. We're going to make her hypothetical. Marge is 350, like no personality, won't look you in the eyes when you're talking to her, like all that kind of stuff. But over the phone, she was an absolute sales god.
Yeah.
You know, hypothetically, right? But the people in our training course, in our call center kind of thing, that you would least expect to like flourish and thrive, were those that weren't confident in person, but over the phone they were like absolute beasts. Yeah. So I think that kind of stuff is really interesting when it comes to psychology and how you go.
I think they're definitely different. Like, I mean, I run into it all the time.
Yeah.
All the time online. It's like there's so much. Excuse me.
COVID-19. Oh, gotta dive behind the desk. Easy, Tiger.
There's toxicity at every game you'll play. Like you've got, I don't know, does Fortnite have chat, like text chatting?
They do, but I haven't figured out how to use it. But you can text chat. The Fortnite chat is more when you're in the groups, and it's more
team chat.
Yeah, team chat.
Yeah, but so like on let's say Rocket League, for example, I'll probably reference Rocket League a lot today. Deal with it.
Fine, that's cool.
So we're always, if we're ever playing, we're always on microphone. We're always communicating Discord. So we're always on Discord whilst we're playing Rocket League, so we can communicate with each other, especially if we're in our IGL, the Indie League. But then might have it. I'm joking. You can type, you can text. So you get a lot of abuse from the opponent's teams or something like that, a lot. Yeah. And some of it is really bad. But fair dues to Cyanix, who have created Rocket League. They have a report function.
Okay.
But it's not like a
flag
you
function.
report it and then you just think, oh, Cyanix is going to do anything. I can report it. I've done it so many times. Reported like racism, sexism, and things like that.
Okay.
And then next time you log in, or a few days later when you log in,
they follow up and tell you that something happened.
Thank you for reporting this person. This person has been banned.
Okay, very cool.
I was like, fair dude, great.
That kind of social responsibility is hardcore, and it has to happen on all these platforms. Yeah. You know, I mean, I think it has to happen, man. I mean,
but there are the options of just completely turning it off anyway.
Sure.
So if you are like a father and your kid's playing that, so just stop them seeing it, because you can't voice chat with the opponent's team unless you press to talk or something like that. I never used it, but you can turn it all off.
Well, this kind of double standard of people that will say shit like that to you online because they know you'll never find out where they live, kind of thing, and how you would interact with somebody who is face to face is just
that's completely different.
Yeah, it's got to be
completely.
Yeah, interesting. Yeah,
but it's everywhere. It doesn't matter. Rocket League, Fortnite, Call of Duty,
any social media at all.
And exactly, it's just social media. It's that day and age we're living in now, isn't it?
It's kind of one of the reasons I don't like Twitter.
Actually, I'm the opposite. I don't like Facebook.
Really? Yeah. Well, I like Facebook because everybody I know who I'm friends with on Facebook, right? I can't just get usually some random what do they call it, troll or whatever. I hate LinkedIn for it.
Never. I haven't got LinkedIn.
Yeah. I frequent LinkedIn a lot just because I like to see what's happening in my kind of network.
But Facebook, I don't think social media as a whole, like a lot of people think, is a big problem this day and age. It's people who've got their heads in their phones instead of like reading a book. But who knows? They might be reading a book on their phone, kind of thing. That's how people get their information. The news channels, everything's on your phone. It's quicker to have it on your phone than to wait to the 10 o'clock news.
Yeah, sure.
Kind of thing. So in that aspect, I think if people are complaining about social media, like, not everyone's sitting there causing drama, but it is the people that cause drama on social media, like Facebook, that I just kind of back away from. I mean, I'm not involved in any of this drama. It's just usually I've created Facebook. I had my Facebook to communicate with my friends in London and around the world and things like that. Yeah. And I use Messenger, and I don't really post anything on Facebook anymore.
Yeah, see, I find an issue with the information that I get on Facebook, right? Like, or any news media sources on any kind of social media. It's checking the validity of that source.
There's going to be a lot of stuff that's not real.
I mean, I've had it a couple of times where I'll say in a teaching moment, again with the kids, sorry, I'm going on about, but I'll say like, you've got all this power at your fingertips.
Yeah.
But it's like, any moron like me can make a website and start spouting absolute BS at the top of my lungs. And if somebody finds that and sees that as a source, a reputable source, even though they don't know where it came from, that's one of the disadvantages to this connectivity that we've got. But the opposite side of that is the benefits of what that platform holds. I think kind of outweigh that, if you're that kind of person that can,
I do think
search out the positivity.
Benefits definitely outweigh the negatives. I mean, I suppose if you're savvy and you know what you're looking at and you know what's credible or not, but it's like going on Wikipedia. You should never ever look at Wikipedia and take that as gospel, because you can click edit and then save. You can put your own stuff on Wikipedia. On
anybody's anything, right? On Wikipedia, is that right?
It usually gets changed, like deleted and something like that. But yeah, you can click edit and then reload it on someone else's computer and it's there.
I think, ashamedly, I only visit Wikipedia when I want to check some trash on somebody or if somebody's died.
Yeah, I usually do it. You ever sit there, you watch a film, it's like, what's that person from? It's got IMDb, like Internet Movie Database. It's that or Wikipedia. Yeah. What films have they been in and things like that. That's kind of what I'd be checking it for.
Yeah, I look to see what strife someone's gone through in their personal life. Because there's that section in the middle. I'm like, let's just check and see what he's gone through.
It's things like that. It's like, do you know it's real? How do you know? I don't know.
That's interesting. Because that's an open source forum for information.
Because I remember in uni, they would like, stay away from Wikipedia. And if you have to use, because we have to, every time you wrote something, like if
you're talking about if you're going to source something in an article,
sourcing something,
right?
you never do it from Wikipedia. And you have to, just like a Harvard referencing system you had to use if you write an essay or something like that, what book, what page, what line kind of thing. But when I was at uni, it was 10 years ago now, my God. They did not long brought in an online version to reference a website.
Okay.
I can't remember how to do that, but you have to reference it. But if they saw the word Wikipedia, it discredit you straight away.
That's interesting, man, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a big problem, right? When we've got all this information there, like how do you actually check it out? Like, how do you source it yourself without being the reporter that goes to the source and says it's like an elaborate game of what do we call it? With the telephone game that you used to play when you're in grade school, where you say to the first kid in the class, Jane's jumper is made of popcorn, or you give him like a sentence. You give him like a normal sentence, right? Yeah. And then by the time the telephone goes all the way to the 30th kid in the class, he's like, Stalin just invaded Russia with red pants and a rabbit.
Yeah.
Stalin invaded Russia with a red pants and a rabbit. I don't know where that came from in my. I don't know why that came into my psyche.
But yeah, it's just you don't know what to trust. But you get the validated websites and stuff now, like you do with Twitter. You get validated accounts and things like that.
But who validates that? The owner validates that.
No, Twitter
right?
validates it.
No, Twitter will validate and verify a individual, but they don't validate
the information. They post. Yeah. So they could just still post rubbish, but to know you're following the right person.
Yeah. Well, this is the interesting thing about this idiom, podcasts, right? Like, so anybody's, opinion can be out there, and someone can watch a podcast like this and feel connected, to the guest or to whoever's running the podcast, and really nobody it's like the Wild West.
Yeah.
If you can get people to come to your page or your account, you pretty much have free range to do most whatever you want, as long as it's not hate speech or whatever. But having said that, I find it interesting that so many people have been ghosted for whatever these like silly things. Like I don't have examples off the top of my head, but you hear people all the time that have referred to somebody who's transgender as Peter, or her name is Paula or something, like, you know what I mean? Like, so that's the interesting thing about social media that I find.
But like I say, I'm glad we've got social media.
Dude, I mean, look, for me, I can't imagine life without it. I can't. Well, I can. I can imagine how simple it would be if you didn't have So I'm one of these. I'm gonna switch to a Dora phone. Like
Dora phone.
I want just a flip phone, and I want something that's fantastic. And with what I do, our connection is through mobile, obviously. Yeah. I really would love to be able to take my iPhone and go, forget that.
Yeah.
But then I don't have access to my emails, and the big one for me is I can't find anywhere without my phone anymore.
I recently just had that. We're in Wales, like where we went was a dead spot. We had to drive about 6 miles up the road to get signal to find out we were driving 6 miles in the wrong way.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, like back in the day, I can remember riding you'd get out a map, you'd get a world map atlas or a road map atlas, and your directions would be like roundabout, third exit, and you'd do the circle, you'd make like the arrow this way, and you'd go 2 miles down the road, you're turning here. I can't imagine doing all the traveling that I've done in the last 3 or 4 years. Yeah, randomly. You can show up somewhere that you have no idea where you're going. Random city, random country, random everything.
Well, you can navigate it, no problem.
And you pull your phone out and boom.
Yeah.
You're there. It's amazing.
It's it's crazy what you can do. But I think I had a conversation with someone at work the other day, a customer, for everyone out there. I work a mobile phone shop, sell phones, where she's probably in her 50s or something like that. She's saying about not understanding or not getting to grips with mobile phones like the way they are now and what you can do on them and the potential they have. Yeah. And she's saying, but all the kids, like she had I think an 8-year-old grandson or something like that who's no problem.
Pulls it out and goes crazy.
Pulls it out, knows what he's doing. And then I was saying to her that, that I'd
like
watched
to
the video.
Say goodbye to everybody now. That's the third cough. That's usually a closing deal.
I've been tested.
I will put the screen back up. I swear to God. Cough one more time and you're out.
The window's open. Quick access. But yeah, I watched this video of a guy. He had a phone, landline phone. Yeah. And his 2 teenage kids.
Oh, and he tried to get him to use it. I saw that. Yeah, dial the number and figure out how to, and they couldn't do it.
And they had no idea. And there's a follow-up video to that. I don't know if it's the same family.
Okay.
But it gave him a Walkman, a cassette tape separately.
Right.
And the earphones.
Yeah.
Old, the 80s ones.
Sure.
And they said, I want you to put it in, rewind it, and play it. They struggled to find out how to put the cassette tape in, and they were trying to plug the cable.
Yeah, that's just one of those things, isn't it?
The cassette tape.
That's evolution, bro. That's how it works.
Then she was saying being at work, how do we keep up with it all? I said, well, I suppose if you're in it, you kind of know where it's going and what way it's heading.
When I think of seeing the first iPhone, okay, so I'm a lot older than you.
I remember the first time.
And I was in shop, and I remember getting my first iPhone and my first Samsung Galaxy, right? And it was like, are you serious? Yeah. This is unbelievable. But before that, man, I can remember just selling whatever and doing whatever, and you'd sell it. The big one was a Sony Walkman phone. Somebody's outside.
Oh, I love, yeah.
And it had music, MP3 music on it. And it was but I think about it now, that phone didn't do a damn thing. It made calls and texts, and it had music, and it was fantastic. Yeah. And so I want to go back to that, man.
But I suppose our generation, we've got the best of both worlds. I mean, if what we have now disappeared, the internet was shut off completely for us, we'd miss it. We'd definitely miss it, but we'd probably be able to cope with, the post.
So an interesting doomsday scenario for you, right? Yeah. Is at what point does the exposure to the new way of being, so we've got these young lads who can't figure out how to use a rotary telephone or an actual, these chairs are creaky as well, so I've got to replace the chairs in here. This is the normal office. My apologies to those who hear the chairs.
I'm the test run.
Yeah, this is the test run. But the information, right? So you've got these young lads who could possibly code a website. Yeah. Right? But they probably don't have enough skill set to, say, for instance, you got a door that falls off the hinge and they won't know how to go and plug that hole and redo it because they've never been taught it. At what point does technology hit a wall where the fundamentals of how you get to that stage aren't learned by anybody.
Where you're just not taught the basics.
Yeah.
You're just taught the...
Like, I'm a well-rounded dude, right? But
Yeah.
I couldn't build that old Pong thing that I had from Atari many years ago.
Yeah.
I probably couldn't put that board together. Now, I've met people who can.
Yeah.
I mean, I've got a guy who I know from a previous role that I had down in London who used to get the first PlayStations.
Yeah.
And he would like soup them up and rebuild them. And he would like do that for fun. And he was such a smart chap. But again, he couldn't really hold a conversation with the average person. But here he was going around and getting all these old PlayStations out of the bin and trash, you know, and like taking them home and building them and doing. It's amazing. Or you see like this story of like a kid in the middle of Africa who's outside a trash dump who's built a
generator,
a generator out of nothing, and you're like, it's a 7 or 8 year old kid who's
amazing.
You know, you wonder what their bandwidth is like, you know, and how they look, you know, like a young Elon Musk who's in the middle of nowhere, and like how does that dude look at a normal conversation?
Yeah,
you know,
how does his mind work, kind of thing.
Yeah, like you know, does he see those kind of things and just not pay any mind, or does he instantly go like, no, don't get it, or I get it? Or
I suppose the question, like, when does this technology become so good? Like the newer generations are, I don't say like they're too far forward. They're not learning the basics. They've got YouTube videos that we've made.
Yeah. Well, I mean, like, look. So imagine making that possible. Imagine in the '80s having enough technology to where we could sit down. You buy a bit of kit on the internet that's going to record a podcast that has up to 4 microphones, that's basically professionally mixed for you. It does the sound, it does everything. And all you got to do is be smart enough to hit the same intro music 3 times in a row. And I can't even figure that out. Right. But you know what I mean? Like, and here you are, you're potentially, if the audience is there, you could reach out to the world.
Yeah, exactly.
It's nuts, man. It's
but that's where I think. I mean, I do it. I'm guilty of doing it. Like, if there's something I don't know how to do and I need to do it, if it's DIY, why is at home, YouTube.
Yeah. Well, on the other hand, that's the great thing about it, right? Yeah. If you want to learn to do anything, you can do it now.
It's there.
Like university. Would I have gone to university? I mean, I don't think so.
I wouldn't.
I think if I had it to do all over again, now in this day and age, I probably wouldn't have, depending on what I wanted to do in life, right? If I wanted to be a doctor, okay, I'm going to uni.
Yeah.
If I wanted to, you know, well, I went to university for music. I wouldn't have gone to university for music in this day and age. No. There are so many resources on YouTube alone that I could spend a lifetime trying to go over the stuff.
It won't cost you a penny.
It wouldn't cost me a penny, but there's so much stuff that's there, good or bad. I could spend the rest of my life and I couldn't even touch what's in that database. Yeah. That's the interesting thing, right? So YouTube or Twitch, you're talking about all these gamers. Imagine how much conversation and discourse is going on just on the average minute on a streaming service like that. And the data that's running through their servers, whether they're virtual or hardwired or whatever. Yeah. I mean, that kind of thing is amazing, man. Mm-hmm. So I kind of would like to, I kind of wish I was a little more simple when it came to that on one hand, but then on the other hand, I'm so thankful that we live in such amazing, exciting times.
I mean, it's been a shit year, but all of this has been, the technology that we have now has made it much easier.
It's been a crazy year, man, and it sounds like it's going to get worse here again. I think, what do you think? We're coming into another lockdown?
I don't think we'll go to a national lockdown. But there's talks of, well, they're doing the local lockdowns, and then they might be reducing shop opening hours.
See, I think local lockdowns with our society, and by our society, I'm equating myself as British, even though I'm not British, but
honorary.
But this is, honorary, and I don't even mean British. The problem with human beings these days, okay, is like right now, Bolton's in lockdown, okay? Yeah. I know for a fact there are shitloads of people in Bolton who they want to go out for tea when when we did this cockamamie get 5 pounds or 10 pounds or whatever the scheme was that the government ran. In August, right?
Was it eat out, help out?
Yeah, or whatever that is, right? They couldn't go locally because there was a lockdown locally in Bolton. All they did was just piss off to Liverpool right down the road, drive 45 minutes away.
And then back in and out of their own.
You know, so for me, a local lockdown just isn't going to work. And that's here or in America or anywhere else. Yeah. It's just not going to work.
But I don't know. If they have a full lockdown, they think it's going to kill the economy. We're paying it off for the next 20 years.
Yeah, I don't think we can have another lockdown. I think this is life as we know it now, right? Like, So So as you probably have seen with me or would know about me, and everybody here at the office will tell you, I'm normally masked. I take it very seriously.
Yeah.
As you should. But when I look around, people don't, mate.
No, but
you must see it every day, right?
Every single day. I think so far, it's just before, because I'll go back to work on Wednesday, but I'm on a week off. Seen maybe 2 or 3 people follow everything as they should. Yeah. And lo and behold, they were NHS workers, or last one was a care worker for a nursing home.
Yeah, it's an interesting, I don't want to give it to anybody else, right? I know that sounds cliche, and probably so many people have had these conversations and they talk like this, but I don't want to take it home to my family, and I don't want to get it. I mean, exactly. even if I get COVID, right, and it's just a cold, like some of these people that are spouting, oh, I've had it, it was no big deal, blah blah blah, or whatever.
Different people,
right? They're just a different person.
Yeah.
I don't even want, if it's a mild runny nose, I don't even want to catch it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Let alone the chances of possibility infecting someone else or taking it home, that kind of thing. So I don't know. That for the COVID thing is tough with 2020, and whether or not it's all going to change. But having said that, all this technology we're talking about in the gaming and everything, dude, imagine how productive we've been as a society. Now, I'm not talking about key workers, people who've been out and who've been really putting in the legwork and doing that. Yeah. But imagine all the key account managers, all the programmers, all the stuff all the business that's actually happened.
Oh, it's been a boom in it.
That used to be face-to-face. I mean, and now it's not. So, I mean, like the training industry for me has completely changed.
But that's now a lot of people, a lot of companies, are binning off, like, physical.
Don't I know it, mate? So like one of the big industries that I'm in one of my businesses is the training company, and I used to think it was going to be okay. Come January, it'll be fine. I think it's changed forever now. I don't think it'll ever be the same for what I did before, which was maybe not as hardcore as some of these guys that are paying for access to these retailers, because they're still coming in now, and the odd person is still being seen in store when it comes to training face to face. But I think everything is going to be digital when it comes to training, and people are going to make decisions about whether or not it's actually the risk is worth the reward, and whether or not that return on investment was the right decision in the first place. Business has changed, all across the board.
Some businesses won't go back
to
the way they worked.
I don't think we'll ever go back to the way it was. And we've had to adapt and move on and do the things that we need to do there. But also, as part of this, I mean, I had a great conversation with one of the local watch dealers in the UK here previously, and he basically said, look, there are going to be so many things that come out of this experience that we've had as a society that you won't even know what the next thing is going to be. This is part of evolution. Yeah. This is like we're now thinking of a different way to do whatever it is, and that makes sense to me, man. Yeah. I hope that the positives that we'll take from this,
it's definitely going to be a turning point in how everybody lives.
I hope so, but it doesn't look like it when you look out there right now. Yeah, it looks like more or less the same kind of stuff it's always. It's the same as it ever was, man. The same as it ever was.
People do treat it like it's the same as it always has been, and things like that. People come into my shop and don't believe in it. It's like, well, we do. Yeah. So put your mask on or get out.
Yeah, exactly. And then you're all of a sudden the bad guy,
Yeah. We're oppressing them. Yeah. It's like, it's not about that one person. No, when people get that into their mind, we might be doing right.
Dude, I think literally at this point, I think that I don't care about what anybody else does. I just do what I need to do. Because I was going nuts. I was going fucking nuts, man. Like I would sit there in the house, or I can remember. So luckily, everybody that I work with in my businesses were all furloughed. Yep. Okay, so it was me in this office and nobody else. Okay, so I would come up here to the office. I would when I finally started to come out. I don't know what we're talking about here. We're talking about. March, April, May. So like kind of around May, right? Or April, May, when it was okay to come back out again, right? A couple of times I came up here to make sure that everything was okay. And I remember standing in that window and looking outside, and I had so much despair because here we are in the middle of this whole entire thing. And you know what it's like out here, man. There's still guys walking down the street picking up fag ends and like pretending like nothing had happened, right? And I remember standing out in the window and looking out and just going nuts. I was driving myself absolutely crazy, and you can't have that in this day and age. This whole thing that everybody has fallen on a, you're either a masky or a no masky
Yeah.
or whatever, all that kind of shit.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter, bro. You just like, for me now, it's changed the patience that I have, and it's changed the way I look at that kind of thing. Then, just a time ago, I was ready to have arguments with friends of mine on Facebook just because they weren't spouting any common sense.
Oh, yeah.
Right? And I had to come to a point where I was like, okay, I need to step away from media. I need to step away from wanting to tell the random on the street that you're an asshole for not, paying any attention to it. And I just had to, you just have to ignore it, to a point. But that's also a problem with society and the way we live, It's like if you're walking down the road and you see somebody throw a fucking, pardon my French, a McDonald's bag right in the middle of the street, and they're like, I'm creating a job for the...
just that grates on me.
Right?
Hate that.
But
littering.
on one hand, what I'm saying is you kind of have to turn a blind eye to certain things. But then on the other hand, I believe that it's the right thing to do to go, oi, you scruffy, whatever, pick it up. What are you playing at, mate? Or go over and grab it and throw it in the bin yourself and go, was that hard?
Yeah.
I think that we're missing a little bit of that in society, both locally, online, face to face, everywhere, right? So, but how do you police yourself? How do we police this conversation even?
I've had a few conversations. Like I was outside Morrison's. It was last year at some point, and someone had parked up. I was in my car. My wife, she was shopping. I was just sitting in the car, and someone threw some rubbish out the window, and there was like a bin, just in front
literally
of us.
right there. Yeah.
I wound my window down. It's like you could just throw it in the bin, kind of thing, stuff like that. And he picked up on my accent. It's like, oh, where are you from? So from London. Oh, London's a shithole. I was like, right. But people can have their opinions. That's fine. I'm not offended. But when you're in your own hometown and you're throwing litter around, it's not going to give a visitor, kind of a great.
And then you realize that if you go home to this scruffy bum's joint in his house where he lives, it probably looks like a shit tip.
Yeah.
Because they've got no respect for anything around them. It's horrible. It's horrible. But I believe it's a necessary evil that we've lost as a society.
Yeah.
That conflict, it doesn't have to even be conflict. Like if somebody does that in front of me, it's not instantly a case of I want to kick the dog shit out of them because they're being that kind of individual. I should be able to say to you, oi, get your shit together. Now, it might come to a point where I'm saying that to the wrong person and I'm thinking, I bit off more than I could chew. But there has to be some sort of a, we can agree to disagree on a lot of stuff. But if you live in a society and you take advantage of society's benefits, and that benefit would be we live in a place with clean streets, sewers, and trash pickups and the whole 9 yards, at some point you have to go, right, I just want to do what's right. Now, I guess it goes morally down to what's right and what's wrong, whether or not throwing a Snickers.
Some people's right's wrong.
Yeah, whether throwing a Snickers wrapper out the car window is catastrophic to someone or not, but still, there has to be a point where you have to be able to say something. And I think that kind of shift when it comes to whether it's racism or, COVID or whatever topic we're talking about, it doesn't happen enough with people, and there's not this agree to disagree.
Yeah.
That's my opinion. And you know what they say, opinions are like assholes in armpits. We've all got them, and occasionally they all stink. So that was going to be one of my catch lines at one point.
Trademark.
I was thinking about what am I going to say at the end of a podcast? You know what I mean? Like when I thought I was going to put the podcast together, I was like, I know what I'll do. I'll finish every podcast with that catchphrase. But then I chickened out.
Yeah, like Jack's got keep it casual at the end of ours.
Yeah, exactly, right?
No one ever thought of that. He just said it. Okay, cool. So
that's why he's the brains of the operation.
Exactly.
Bro. I got to tell you. No offense, to you and the other guy.
Well, we got me at Dan. Jack does his it's what we call the doc.
Yeah.
So we've got a Google document we all share, and that it will fill in the news of it. Mostly all Jack.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, he keeps up with the news and stuff. He's on Twitter all the time.
So that's topics that you want to talk about, right?
Yeah, we've got like sections. So we got small stories, we've got big news, and then scores on the door. So recent releases and their reviews.
Very cool.
Come out and things like that. And at the end, we've got like gaming music quiz or quote quiz now, as he does.
Shout out to Jack in his scruffy bed behind him. One day you can come on this podcast and we'll talk about that, Jack. You can call me an asshole for judging you for your. But yeah, no, you can tell when the guy carries himself. that he's definitely very, very intellectual. Not intellectual, that's the wrong word, but he's a smart dude.
He knows what
he
he
knows what he wants to put forward.
Yeah.
And he's got a good fashion sense as well. I like the fact that he's got the Miami Vice jacket on sometimes with the t-shirt, and he's always got the loose tie. He looks like he knows what he's doing.
It was actually a really good idea of his. So like because at the time me and Bishop, so we're both called James, so there's Jam and Bish.
Correct. Yeah, I got that. Maybe
So-
that's why I thought you were brothers. I don't know.
So so when Bishop was streaming with us, he doesn't anymore. We were just playing games. So Jack was, I'll get closer to the mic. It's because I've got a condenser microphone.
Yes, yeah, I don't have that fancy dancy, whatever that is. I don't even know what that is.
So so Jack was like, he can just start streaming and playing games, but that's what's not much different to what we do. But Jack always watches like podcasts or listens to them anyway.
Okay.
And he used to write for a blog called Jack of All Controllers. Don't exist anymore.
Okay.
But he used to write for them, and I did say to him, you should turn these into like YouTube videos, or like just do vlogs of them for a YouTube channel. Then kind of like that babied into, instead of streaming games all the time, because he does stream games. He does it on Fridays, with Casual Fridays, where we just play games on his channel.
Yeah.
But that's where podcasts came from.
I like the way that your setup is there's no delay. So one of the reasons I didn't podcast throughout the lockdown was I hate that whole Teams thing that you get.
Yeah.
Sometimes there's the delay.
Yeah.
I know there's loads of people in America that have asked me, yo, can I be on the podcast? And I'm like, well, first of all, the technology for me to do that, you'll notice that I don't really edit the videos. Sometimes I just go from the one camera and that's it. When I've had a problem with the camera or a problem with the situation, then I've had somebody come in.
Yeah, I've seen one just static camera.
Yeah, most of them are all static camera because I can't figure out how to use the software, and I can't even figure out how to do the you could put up like the 3 camera thing on one screen.
Yeah. I
can't even get that far. So I've just I can get through a Teams meeting, no problem, but I can't remember what the point I was getting to there was. I was getting to some sort of a point.
The delay.
But your setup and how it's set up with, you've got the very colorful background, which I know you guys got from somewhere else, and the 3 of you in the windows. It's perfect, mate. It's perfect that you've got that discourse.
That's in, so that, even though we chat in Discord, so if we're playing games, we are just in a voice channel in Discord, but when you're watching the Casual Report is Zoom.
So that's an out of the box Zoom product, and that's it.
So
Very cool,
and then
man.
obviously what I sent you a few weeks ago about OBS, that is the streaming.
Oh right, yeah.
Platform you use. So you create your overlay.
Yeah, so that's where the typing comes in on your thing, and people can type you the questions while you're doing it, right?
Yeah,
that's what you're talking about.
Yeah, so that you set up a chat box, then because we can see that even if we didn't have that chat box on screen that you couldn't see, Jack could still see it because he's streaming. He has a chat section come up separately off stream.
So he uses the same thing you sent me in conjunction with YouTube and does it all in one shot.
No. Well, he does the whole thing, but then after we finish the Casual Report, he then uploads to YouTube.
Okay.
But
gotcha. But he could do that live if he wanted off YouTube as well as a live stream, probably with that stuff you said.
Yeah, essentially. Actually, that's just a good point. Why don't we do that?
You should do that. Yeah, you should do that.
Why are we doing that, Jack?
There you go. I'll take
You don't have to upload it then. All you have to do is design the thumbnail.
That's it. Yeah, and then you put it on there, and then you live in the dream, right?
So that's Zoom, and then on this OBS Streamlabs, you make scenes.
Right.
So you've got like your intro scene. So that's when you see the Casual Report is starting soon.
Very cool. Yeah. So that's the stuff that I really dig about watching your guys' thing, because it looks professionally done.
Yeah. So and then all we have to do is a window capture, and then Jack then crops our cameras out with Zoom, and then they put them in the overlay of stream.
So ironically, right? I would love to be able to do that, and I would love to be able to video edit.
Yeah.
My patience is I've tried. I tried during lockdown. I did 2 things in lockdown. One is I bought a Rosetta Stone Mandarin course, and I was like, bro, by the end of lockdown, I'm going to be Mandarin-ing it up. I want to speak. I
didn't know Rosetta Stone still existed.
Yeah,
not heard of it for years.
They're still there. Yeah, but I wanted to learn that, and then I wanted to learn how to video edit and do these kind of things. And I watched quite a few tutorials, and I tried it. And I got to be honest with you, I've accepted.
It does take patience and stuff like that. But
I was like, square peg, round hole, sitting there trying to figure it out, scratching my head, trying it several times. And I just, I lost the patience to really try to figure it out and do it.
I mean, I've been doing it for a long time, but you never know everything. You never know. There's so much stuff I don't even want to know any of it.
I just want to know how to make a basic kind of thing like that. So we'll go over that. You can show me. You can teach me through. That'd be good.
But it's the basics that just makes a good edit.
Yeah. And it looks fantastic the way you guys have done it.
And you just don't need to add fancy effects on it at the end. But if it, like Jack does, or like you do with this podcast, if you can just upload it, remember it's not necessarily what it looks like, it's the content as well.
Yeah, so interesting. Okay. Let's pick that up afterwards because I got a couple questions, but I don't want to ask them now because I'll look like an idiot. Yeah. Very cool. Right on. All right. Okay. Well, that's most of what I got now. Come on, come up with something else. How long is that? That's not very long. That's only an hour, man.
No, we've got some more to go over.
I've got bigger treads than that, but I'm distracted now by thinking about how I could use. So I have another idea.
Go on.
I'm not going to share it now because I don't want it to get out there because you know what I'm like with my ideas. You know, I'm building burgers one day and the next day I'm doing something else. But yeah, we'll get back to that. So let's just park that one there. So back to your gaming and back to this whole what's the truck driving thing that I'm always watching
Rocket
you do?
League.
Rocket League.
It's the logo for it.
Yeah, that was the shirt. Yeah. So you're what do you plan on doing with that? Your Twitch, your personal Twitch is just an account that you go off of?
Yeah.
I guess you just gonna keep streaming, keep doing
just
it, keep trying to.
And it's not always just every Saturday I play Smash Brothers, new Super Smash Brothers.
I don't know what that is.
It's on the Switch. Was on the N64, GameCube.
So I also figured out that I can't play the Switch. So I've tried to play Fortnite on the Switch because
too small.
So in season 1, I realized very quickly that if you're on the Switch when you're playing Fortnite, that the level of player is not really the same as the Xbox and the computer guys, right? So I tried to play Switch with a controller, like set it up that way.
The Joy-Con.
The Joy-Con thing where you
too
put
small.
The things. Yeah, it's just too small.
I never do it.
Again, and this is a problem with Xbox controllers. I don't understand how these NBA dudes, you know, like when you see Shaquille O'Neal playing with a Xbox controller, and it's like in their fingers. I can't operate them, and my paws just won't let me do everything I need to do.
I use 2 types of controller with the Switch, and not one of them is a Switch controller.
Yeah. Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah. I use a Switch Pro controller.
Right. Okay.
So that's the official Nintendo licensed one. And I use a GameCube controller. So from the console that came out in 2001, 2002.
Okay.
I just got an adapter, plug it into the Switch dock. And just playing the GameCube controller.
Interesting. Because the other thing I've got a problem with smashing controllers. And I don't mean smashing controllers in rage. I just mean my grip is so tight on the controllers.
It's a manly grip.
That, I'm like ruining the joystick button. So we've gone through 6 controllers since we've got the Xbox. And
controllers aren't cheap either.
And man, 50 quid a shot.
Yeah.
Boom. And I've got to buy another controller. I'm so like.
And if you're an Xbox, you'll buy batteries as well.
Yeah, well, that's okay. We've got the same kind of wireless.
Oh, you get wireless charging.
We bought one of those.
I do the same.
Yeah, so convenient. But man, what a racket that they've got that whole thing going. You know what I mean? So that's interesting to me. So Xbox, okay, I have to look at that, man. That's going to be the way of the future. Okay, so politics. Are you a politics kind of guy?
Not really.
Either am I. Man, that's not going to go anywhere real fast. How do you think they're dealing with all this stuff that's going on now?
I'm baffled by it all. I think most people are. You got last month. Please go out to your restaurants. Go out, eat out, to help out.
Yesterday. You can hang out in 30 yesterday. Yeah. Today it's only 6.
Yeah, you can't do that anymore. It's like, what do you want us to do?
I can't understand how we're going to go to this whole 6-person thing when kids are still in classes of 30.
Yeah.
And I mean, last week, dude, when school started, I had a little bit of a freak out. I had a little bit of a moment there when I was watching everybody walk into the high school.
Yeah.
You know, like my daughter's school is overcrowded. Like it's at maximum capacity, and they probably should have tents and caravans in the back that are fake.
And even if they were trying to social distance, it'd be pretty much impossible.
You can't do it. You can't do it. And they did as you do with business and with schools. They did a health and safety report after the first week and deemed it that the kids only had to wear masks when they were going to and fro their classrooms. But within the classroom, they don't have to wear a mask anymore, which, okay, fair enough. If they can social distance in a class, which is far enough away from each other.
I get it. All right, so they can social distance in the class.
Allegedly. So I've had the conversation. Apparently nobody's that close, and there are rows that the teacher can walk between, which obviously means that there's more space than like a meter between them. But that kind of thing is just, it's very interesting with how they're doing things. And I think from a political point of view, I really think that we've handled things well to a point when it comes to keeping the economy sparked, taking care of businesses, furloughing everybody.
That side of things,
they've done a fantastic job. However, what does it mean in the future? And I guess by politics, I wasn't going into just our local politics, but the point I kind of wanted to get to that popped up in my head was the difference between what I hear now and what I hear now locally about what England's, what our impression of what's going on is, and what my parents see back in America of what is happening in England is completely different. And it's the same thing in reverse.
So we're seeing some of this differently happening over in States.
So one of the things I wanted to ask when it comes to politics, it wasn't necessarily a question about politics, but do you guys ever get into conversations of anything outside of gaming when you're on these rooms, or when you're in the casual report?
Football.
Like, so you talk stuff, but you don't talk. Do you talk about anything else besides gaming?
Yeah.
Or do you have opinions that you share about?
Yeah, of course we do.
Yeah.
It's never a prominent thing. Like politics, it does come up occasionally.
Or do you avoid it? Like people say, you avoid politics and religion, right? If you want to get along with people, because
we don't really talk about any of that stuff anyway, because it doesn't really interest us. But it's like I say, got a few friends in America that play with us, and they do ask us, like, "Oh, is this happening?
How's it going over there? How's this going?"
So they just want to know. And like, I don't know if it's silly, but Florida is actually one of the highest, I think, cases of coronavirus.
Yeah, man,
in
Florida's a huge hotspot. Or it was anyway.
So
I wouldn't know. Really,
but they were telling me this was last month, 6 weeks ago, maybe. So Ryan and Travis. Ryan has now moved out. With his girlfriend, but. This was all in the process of Florida getting like super strict about things. So I've not actually heard from Ryan since. I know he's alive, don't worry. But they said, it was getting very, very strict over there.
All I know is they've stopped cruising, and I'm really upset about that, because I've got like a couple of cruises booked and they've been canceled and moved, and I honestly at this point don't know if I want to take a plane to go to America. I mean, you can't now for one reason. For one thing, you can't. Like, I didn't realize this until last week when I was talking to a chap in town here who said, you can't go to America right now and come back. And I was like, really? I'm like, you can't fly from here to America at the moment?
I didn't know that wasn't the thing.
If you don't have a visa, you can't get your ESTA renewed, and you can't actually take a flight to the States from England.
Oh, wow. No idea.
I had no idea, right? So like, I'm not crazy about the idea of flying. I think I know people who've flown since this has happened. I mean, we flew in March, right?
Yeah.
Ironically, or not March, end of February into the beginning of March. We came back from Miami, and it was like our flight came in, and there was a flight from Hong Kong that came in, and everybody that got off the flight from Hong Kong were all wearing masks.
Yeah.
And they're at the luggage carousel, and we're at the luggage carousel, and we were like, oh. This is not really an ideal situation to be in. Mm-hmm. But now that this is all kicked off, I don't know if I want to cruise again. I don't know if I want to fly again. Like, would I get on a plane and sit right next to somebody? I don't know.
I've known a few people that went abroad as soon as they could. So I was like, what are you doing?
Yeah, and it's happening now. There's loads of people that have gone to Europe. I know a few people that are in Turkey at the moment. There's a few people that have been to Spain. One of my mates went to Italy a few weeks ago. Italy was like supposedly this hot spot of everything.
It's on the quarantine list as well, isn't it?
Yeah. Well, I don't know. Obviously, he went and he came back, and there was no issues.
Portugal's gone back on it. I saw the other day. Yeah. So like, but I mean, my cousin, she went to Spain, came back, 2 weeks quarantine, and she was in France last week.
Yeah. It's all big considerations.
Yeah.
How dumb do I look in these glasses? I forgot my normal glasses. So if I want to see anything now, I've got to put on my Harry Potter spectacles, which works out quite well for me. Sorry, I just want to check one thing real quick.
Make sure you're recording.
No, I'm still recording. I just wanted to look at. Anyway, I can't walk and talk and type and do this. This is probably a bad idea. I don't even know why I even bothered bringing a stupid laptop.
It gets difficult. Well, I do that too. Like when we're in the casual report, and because on this Google document we have, there are links.
Yeah.
So when Jack talks about it, you can click a link and it pops up a trailer or something. That's what you guys will see on the thing.
It's okay when you're looking at one thing and you can kind of do it at the same time and somebody else is talking. But when it's one-on-one discourse,
just make it really
work.
quick. But yeah, I've been doing like if I do it in my own personal stream and stuff like that, I'm like, okay, hang on, give me 2 seconds, and I have to tab out of one window to open it because I've got 2 monitors.
Okay.
Tabbing out of one and going to the other. Yeah, I can't do that either.
I'm not a multitasker enough to.
And then I'll stop talking for a minute because I'm too busy trying to concentrate on what I'm doing.
And then it's dead air. And then what do you do? Yeah, it's crazy. So yeah, so I don't know. So flying at the moment, like, man, as we know it, I think the whole industry is going to change.
Yeah, it will do.
I think it's going to be completely different.
Like so, with mine and my wife's honeymoon, we were supposed to go in March, got moved to September. Then they offered us to move it again. Or cancel it. And a refund. I said to cancel it and a refund.
Yeah.
And Steph, my wife, she goes, yeah, but I really want to go on holiday. So I understand, but we'll probably put it back again. It'll probably get cancelled.
Where were you meant to go?
Cape Verde. It's off the coast of North Africa.
Yeah, sure.
Island. And I said, I know it's not really like it's not on any hotspot list or anything like that, but the way the industry is going now, the flights and things like that, it all changes.
You can't go anywhere and then potentially get stuck there for one.
Exactly.
One is getting stuck there, and then the big thing is you come back and you've got to put your life on hold for 2 weeks.
2 weeks.
But they've got these rapid COVID tests now, right? So you can come back as long as you take a test once you've been back.
Yeah, I saw that on the news yesterday.
They're okay, right?
As soon as you get off the plane.
Yeah, so I think this is the way of the future. So like, would I fly or would I have a cruise if getting on board as part of the onboarding process, I had to take a test, and I knew that the 6,000 people that were getting on the same boat as me had all had that test.
The chances are someone's going to have it.
Yeah, the chances are somebody's still going to have it, but it really does slim it down, I think.
Yeah. They did have a cruise ship full of it.
Yeah, so that was the big thing in the beginning is they had a cruise ship and they didn't know how to handle it, and then people were stuck on the boat because they wouldn't let them off and all that kind of stuff. You know, I mean, if you think about the cruise industry as a whole, it operates solely on the fact that borders allow a ship to come in with people from all over the world, because you're talking about staff members that are from 90 countries, and you're talking about potentially clients and customers who are on board from, man, it can be anywhere, right? People take a cruise, and I think they handled it really piss poorly, and they left people on the boat at first. Yeah, it was in the early days, you know, nobody knew, like what at first, right? Like now, everybody's got this blasé attitude about like, okay, we're at 3,500 cases a day in the UK, but the deaths were only like 3 yesterday or something like that, or I think I heard that. I could be.
It's not like a 98% chance to survival compared to the diagnosis.
Yeah, but in the early days, we thought it was going to be like the Black Plague, right? Yeah. It was like, holy crap,
I actually thought that it's like the Black Plague again, modern day one.
Dude, in the first couple of weeks of lockdown here, I went out of the house. I've said this before. I went out of the house. I was like Bruce Willis in 12 Monkeys, if you've ever seen that film. Yeah. I literally, I gloves, mask, not goggles, but I put on glasses. Yeah. And I had a whole routine about how I did everything. If I touched the car, if I did whatever. I mean, the guys will tell you here, it's driven my OCD crazy. Not that I have real bad problems with OCD, but I've really struggled, mate. Like I have a thing where I'll put hand sanitizer in my hand, and I'll lock the door with this hand, and I'll do everything that I need to do, and then I'll chuck my keys into the hand sanitizer, throw my keys into my pocket, then I disinfect, and it's really changed me as an individual.
Well, I didn't have that so much. I mean, when we closed the shops down, I wasn't furloughed,
Oh, really?
No, so two of us in the store, we were sent laptops to our houses and became customer service.
Right, of course, makes sense.
So
Yeah,
we
yeah.
worked from home. The rest were furloughed.
Okay,
We eventually got furloughed about 3 weeks before opening up again.
okay.
2 weeks before opening up
Yeah,
again. So
yeah.
we didn't come back till beginning of July when the shops opened 15th of June
Interesting. Yeah, yeah.
because we had to serve full furlough.
Wow, okay, cool.
But yeah, so I only left the house probably twice.
Yeah, well, okay, this is another thing that was done great, though. Like, okay, I know it kind of sucks for you because you ended up not being furloughed and you had to work or whatever.
Oh, I didn't mind it.
Which you don't mind.
I was
and-
glad to be kept
Which
busy.
I wouldn't mind as well. But, man, the networks did such a fantastic job of doing that.
Yeah.
And there were probably so many learnings from this experience that it has to be a good thing. It has to have helped customer service.
Yeah.
It has to have helped operations. It has to have helped, because people have all
They're
sat back.
much better prepared now.
That's
Like,
great.
if it happens again, kind of thing. But like it was intense. Like,
But even if it doesn't happen again, you must have got operational skill sets as a team that would have made things so much more efficient.
Me and Mitch, who were on the laptops at home, it was a completely other job role. We had title change.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, wow, cool.
For the time being, but we learned. So when we have to contact our channel support team, we learned what they do.
Yeah, so you had to go through the whole learning process and everything.
But I mean, it was a bit intense because they do 6 weeks of training. We did that same training in 4 days.
Yeah, but you guys use the same system in store, no?
You'd think so.
Some retailers use the same system in store as they do in the call centers.
Yeah, no.
They just have a different unlocked version of it depending on which.
There is, it's completely different.
Wow.
There's a few systems that they use on our channel support team that I had access to whilst working from home, which I think this thing would be amazing in store and could help us answer so many more questions for customers and things like that. But
I'm sure that'll happen, mate. I'm sure that it's unlocked. You got to think that. So the whole entire estate, I don't know how many stores, but over 300. Let's say two people from every store have now become super users, quote unquote.
Yeah.
Surely the possibility there is now, or the possibility is there now that you guys could unlock this new potential in serving your customers.
But
fantastic.
That's what we got. We got them laptops. We've still got them.
Yeah, amazing.
And we know it's a just in case it goes back to the way it was, so just in case the store's shut again.
Not necessarily. They're winging it, man. Everybody's winging it.
Yeah, of course they are. But the thing is, like, when we went back in, was like we asked our area manager, was like, can we just use these laptops whilst we're in the store? No.
There's got to be, there's got to be security stuff with that as well. There's got to be networking stuff.
Yeah, it's because, when the laptops were sent out to us, we had to give them our Wi-Fi codes.
Yeah.
So them laptops would not connect to any Wi-Fi other than the codes they've been
makes sense
made with.
Fantastic, right?
So the security's excellent on it, yeah.
So that's part of the stuff I was talking about with lockdown. That's absolutely amazing. Look at the shift of things. Okay, this is not necessarily a good thing, by the way. Look at the shift of things delivered by Amazon and Hermes and packages. Yeah. Okay, the environmental impact of not only masks all over the street, but like loads of packing, loads of gas, loads of petrol, or whatever you guys want to say. Well, petrol in England, gas at home.
It's gasoline.
Yeah, or gasoline or whatever, right? But the impact of COVID and how we operate and get things. I mean, dude, I know guys who work for some of the carriers here in the UK, and it was like Christmas from day one of lockdown. It was like it would be in the month of December. People buying, people purchasing. Suddenly they had all these new challenges. I mean, and they actually did a really good job with it. I know. Thank you.
That wasn't canned laughter, by the way.
So this is a new thing that I'm gonna have to take into consideration when it comes to this space. It's not. I don't know if the cache is gonna work in here or not. It probably would work if I didn't have the window open. But if I,
you'd be roasting.
They're outside having fun in a group of whatever.
7.
But you know what I mean? Like, so it's 7. One more over 6. Forget about it. I was watching this thing last night. That reminds me. I saw this thing where today, the only thing the news could put up was they were in somewhere, I don't know where, but somebody had an 18th birthday party today, and they had the banners on the front of their house, and there were like 4 police officers that went to the house where the 18 banner was to make sure that there were no more than 6 people in the house. And I just thought, 4 people to do that. there's got to be a better way.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like that's so I got a little distracted there. Sorry, the laughter. I can't even remember what I was saying, and I'm of clear-headed mind. But
the impact on the environment.
So the impact of the environment. Yeah, that's right. That's where I was going with this. So so the way we shop and the way retail has happened in your environment and overall in all environments. So whether it's grocery, electronics retailers, fashion, clothes, everything, it's all shifted, man, to where I don't even think that I haven't been to the grocery store. I went to the grocery store today to buy some beverages and some drinks for the office.
Yeah.
We have everything delivered to us at the house. Our weekly shop comes from,
That's the only reason why I went out the house was to go.
Yeah,
to get groceries.
In the beginning, that was it. But then we figured out that we could actually get for eight quid or $8, we could get a delivery come to the house every week.
Yeah.
Whether it was a maximum of 80 items or whatever. So I'm going to brag about this. I don't give a shit. When everything was going down in February, people thought I was crazy because I went and I said, like, okay, we need an extra freezer. And we need a pantry full of food just in case society breaks down as we know it.
Yeah.
Right? And I went out and I didn't go over the top. I spent 200 quid. This was weeks before.
On the freezer and food?
No. This was just food.
Okay.
But this was weeks before anything went down and happened, right? I'm talking like in January, February when I heard COVID for the first time.
Yeah. And
I went, okay, I'm just going to make sure that everything's okay. Somebody's now, yes, there's builders outside now doing stuff, so apologies for that, but we're going to keep going.
Yeah.
And I went out and I spent 200 quid. I didn't buy loads of toilet paper. I didn't buy all the crap that people ran out of, but I went and I bought, canned stuff and rice and stuff like that. And we took it from there, and people were taking the piss out of me, man. They were like, and the week lockdown started. What is going on? This is not going to work, bro. There's like loads of things happening now. Pause. I think I want to close that window.
Yeah, go ahead.
I'm not going to pause. Where you just keep talking, and I'll go into something. No pressure.
No pressure. I don't know what to talk about when you're not here. Welcome to the Casual Report. We're just in a different room right now. Nate's closing the window. It's new room. New problems.
Yeah, no good. There are literally there's like 8 dudes outside with sledgehammers.
It sounds like it.
All going crazy. They're redoing the front of the of the business next door.
Yeah.
And obviously,
when I pulled up, I thought, hey, is that the way in? Because their door was open.
Anyway, so we get everything delivered now, right? So the environmental impacts, or not the environmental impacts, the impact of doing something like going and doing the weekly shop, right? In our house has now been reduced to us hitting the same button once a week on a Wednesday.
Because it just saves your shop,
It saves the whole entire shop. So we get the same thing. We've got it down to a T. We know what we have. We know what, we know what the kids like. We know what we like.
Yeah.
For the most part, we change a few small things, but for the most part, it's simplified our lives to no end. All the uniforms, all the school shoes, everything that we do has now gone online. It's changing the face of retail as we know.
Oh yeah, I've had conversations at work thinking, like I said to my manager a few weeks ago. Do you think in like say 10 years, 20 years time, what retail's going to look like, or will there be retail shops? I said to him, they'll probably like your Asda, Tesco's. You probably get your supermarkets.
I think there will be, but I don't think it'll be to the extent that it is currently.
No,
right?
I said we could just like turn into more of an information point. You see what I mean?
Dude, imagine trying clothes on, for instance. Okay, some people are really hardcore about trying clothes on, all right? When you get to my size and age, I just want to know that I'm going to be comfortable. I can't tell you the last time I've tried on a pair of jeans or a shirt. I know what size I need. I don't care here nor there. If I can get it, I don't even need to think about it. I just order it and I do it. But imagine a day and an age when you can just put yourself in a virtual environment. Like I know a couple of watch companies at the moment. You literally take your phone and you put your wrist out, and it superimposes a watch over your wrist.
This is they're doing it with VR as well.
It's unbelievable. So what will it look like in 20 or 30 years when you won't need it? Oh, and forget that. Talk about when you've got a printer in your crib that is set up on a 3D printing kind of thing.
Yeah.
And we want our robot toy here, and we can print the components.
Yeah.
Potentially, this could be some start. I sound like I'm high or something in this conversation, but honestly, this could be potentially what you're talking about, right? Where you go to a machine that just has, it's like what's the Matrix, when he's like, this tastes like chicken, everything tastes like chicken, that kind of thing. What is it? It's amino-based proteins.
Yeah.
But you could go to a machine and order a coffee like you're on Star Trek, or order a chicken dinner, and it makes it for you in the machine, and it's there.
Back to the Future too. Put the tiny little bit in, pizza comes out.
Gone a little far-fetched now. Yeah, I went down a little rabbit hole there. But
it's the way it's going.
Yeah, and the adaptability that human beings have shown and businesses have shown and this government shown to go back in a kind of a full circle swing to politics and everything. It's all positive, or mostly positive.
Yeah.
Not all positive, obviously.
There's positives that come out of the negative.
Man, it's so amazing how we've adapted in business and in society. And but then on the other end of that coin, I like to do this when I talk. I don't know why I always kind of go a negative with a positive. Is even though that's great and there's all these positives, there are loads of people that probably will refuse to grow. You know what I mean? Like look at when retail opened for the first time here. How I again was in the office here. I can't tell you how many bags from New Look that I saw coming down the street, because there's a New Look in town there, right? Loads of people, they'd been dying.
Just up here around there, isn't it?
Yeah, they've been dying to go there, right? So loads of people just went shopping, which okay, fair enough. People want to get out of the house after being locked in for however long. So will it go away? I don't know, man.
Don't know.
But
I think retail will still be a thing. I think just most of it will be online. Most of it's probably online now.
You could blow up the Trafford Center tomorrow, and I wouldn't care.
No.
Obviously, I want everybody to be out of there, and I want it to be like a proper fight club.
Figuratively,
I want it to be a fight club situation where there's nothing but the night security guard, and we pull them out of the building.
Yeah,
that place could blow up tomorrow, and it wouldn't bother me in the least bit. Like the consumerism, the stuff that happens with it. I say that on one hand, right? But then there's a part of me, look around my office.
Exactly.
I'm a nester. I got all this. I've got shit. Same. I've got loads of stuff.
I'm the same.
Right? So will it change? I don't know if it will, man. I think that there's like this inside innate human nature to want to build anything, whether it's build a castle or build a nest or build security or acquire shit.
Yeah. I know what you mean, but I have this. I think this relates to like how kind of gaming started for me as well. But like, I used to have arcades around me.
Right. Okay.
And the physicality of being able to go into an arcade and play your games, like your arcade cabinets, you put in like 50p and 20p in or whatever it was, and your mates there. It was just the atmosphere and stuff like that, and they barely exist anymore.
Yeah.
And so the physicality of that's pretty much dead now. And even we're at a point now of video games consoles. We're in a shift now. This will definitely be the last generation of having discs in the consoles. I can't see them having any more discs.
Yeah. Unbelievable, right?
And
yeah, of course.
Eventually, it's the same thing with retail, I think. Like, is that just going to all be online and stuff? But then when I collect games and stuff like that, I'll always buy the physical edition. I've still got my Super Nintendo games in boxes.
Really? Yeah.
And there's things like that. I'll keep them, collect them like you got things here. But I like the physicality, and that's why I like retail as well. I like going to the shops. Like if I have to buy something, especially tech or games, I'd rather walk into a shop and buy it than online.
Yeah, it's interesting. I don't know. I'm changing. I'm changing as an individual as I get older. I
mean, even though you're doing it will happen. I can't sit here and deny that eventually I will have to get most of all my game stuff online.
As I think about it, I'm turning into a big hypocrite. So yeah, I can see it going that way, but then I can also see the nostalgia of wanting to have those items. So it's more having the physical item to me, right? It's more like it's like I love the fact that I've got a couple of big folders full of all my old CDs.
Yeah.
But I know that they're completely irrelevant.
Yeah, exactly.
Because I've got Spotify.
How like when you walk into a PC world, Curry's PC world, how many PCs in there have got disk trays now? Disk drives?
Yeah, none.
Or
right?
laptops that have disk drives? None.
I'm like, wait a minute.
Yeah,
does mine even have a disk drive on it?
Just USB. There you go.
I'll be damned.
So but I have a friend that still buys CDs to this day. He'll still buy physical albums.
Now, okay, so does he do that because of supporting the artist, or does he do that because of the...
Well, you're supporting the artist, whether you're streaming it on Spotify.
Not really. Not really. My understanding is not really.
Really?
Spotify, this is the middleman thing we're talking about.
Of course,
so,
yeah.
I probably shouldn't say this because, one day when this podcast blows up, I might be on Spotify. But my understanding is the way that it happens now is back in the day, if you were selling a physical record, it was a completely different proportion of the pie that you were getting on Spotify.
Yeah.
Like on Spotify, you would have to stream 4 million records in order to get what you'd get from selling out 10,000 records back in the day. More than likely. I don't know.
I know he just likes the physicality of them, like I do with my games.
I had the same thing, or I have the same thing. I love the nostalgia of putting a record down and listening to it.
Crack.
And loads of people will say, oh, they're purists. Like, you've got loads of brands like, Bang Olufsen and all these guys, right? Listen, I can get my little Bluetooth speaker here and put it on the desk, and the shit is crystal clear. Yeah. It sounds amazing. Mm-hmm. I don't need the record anymore, but I love having the record for a few reasons. One, because of the art. Yeah. Like I've got loads of records on the wall. Yeah. Outside, you probably didn't see me. I love it, man. Those are my favorite records, and the graphics behind them are art to me, or the things that I see on the board, right? Like, it's like buying a skateboard, right? Like, why buy a skateboard that has a different graphic on it when it's the same deck that 99% of whatever might use, right? It's individualism. It's all that kind of stuff that is innate. It drives us.
Oh, I really agree with that.
Yeah. So I don't know. It'd be interesting to see how it all changes, man. And one thing I do know for sure is when it does change, hopefully I'll still be around and I'll still be bitching about how it's back in my day.
Back in the day,
back in my day, it used to be so different. That kind of thing.
Like recently, last December, I built a PC. Now this is so PC gaming is all the rage. It's like the big thing. Now, like, you got the consoles. I built a PC, and obviously no disk drive, don't need one. Sure. But buying games on that is all digital. Yeah. And I find myself doing it more and more because I can go online, go Amazon, buy the physical PlayStation version or Xbox version. Sure. It will perform better on the PC, and a lot of the time it's cheaper. So I hate to admit it. I know, Jack, if you're watching, know what your face is going to be like. Because I am, we say team physical. Right. Instead of team digital. I'm team physical because I always buy my games physical. But I'm slowly getting there with my...
I think the only reason...
digital side.
So the other thing for me is it has to go digital at a point, right?
It will do.
Like, how much information can you put on a physical disc? So, for instance, like, did a tape... Surely an 8-track had less information than a tape. Yeah,
tape you could do two
and
sides.
And a tape had loads of less information than a giant laser disc when the technology was a laser disc. Like, at what point does that physical disc,
I think,
is it able to hold as much information as a download, right?
So when the DVDs came out, so PlayStation 2, Xbox 360 were DVD discs. That was 9 gigabytes maximum. Right. And then you got PlayStation 3 came out and it was Blu-ray. So Blu-ray was 25 gig, but then now we have dual layered Blu-ray discs, which is 50 gig. Okay. I believe. I could be wrong. I'm not looked this up in a long time. But yeah, eventually.
But look, as a gamer, as someone who's gamed, one thing you can't do with a freaking disc is you can't have an automatic update for whatever come down to it.
Every time, day one, you put that disc in your PlayStation, day one patch.
So this is the thing about like Fortnite, right? Not only are there different seasons and there's different storylines and narratives that are coming down on top of all this with the update.
Yeah.
It's the way of the future, man.
Yeah.
It's the future.
Yeah, it is.
It's incredible. It's incredible. Now, whether or not that'll materialize to other things, who knows?
It will. Fortnite is one of the leading of it. Epic Games have bought Rocket League.
Yeah. Oh, really? Have they?
So they bought it back end of last year. They've not much had much influence, but they have they have the Battle Pass, Season Pass in Fortnite. Rocket League has the Rocket Pass. It's all cosmetic, no play to win, but you pay once a season, and you can get stuff as you do challenges and things like that. But this month, Epic have made Rocket League go free to play.
Really?
So you don't have to buy the game.
Oh, wow, cool.
You can obviously probably walk into a game and buy the physical one still. But yeah, it's a free-to-play game. Whether you've got it on PC, PlayStation, Xbox or Switch, you can merge your account. So if you play it on multiple consoles, you just merge it all together.
How many people work at Epic Games now in order to build a game like that?
But that's the thing. They're not building the game. They've been changing it from the inside whilst it's still
With
running.
Rocket League, we're talking about that. But I mean, like, if you wanted to set up
yeah.
a game from scratch, like, so one of the interesting things that's come of lockdown for me is, right, like, I did a little bit of web stuff, and I kind of thought, yeah, man, I can see that when they put together a website, it must be, like, pretty straightforward. You know, you do this, you do that. And I've realized now in this evolution of one of my businesses that, dude, there's a lot of stuff to do when it comes to building a good and proper website. There's loads of stuff, coding and everything. To build a game that has that many frames coded, and I mean, I'm assuming everything is almost designed in like CGI and all this kind of stuff. Yeah. Like, there has to be hundreds of people that are involved in making a game, if not thousands.
Yeah. Well, actually, surprisingly, there are games out there that look like graphically insane.
Oh, dude, it's already insane. Yeah, sure.
But are made by 7 people.
Really?
Yeah. There's a game. Have you ever heard of a game called Burnout? It's an older car game.
I've heard Burnout. Yeah.
We've not had a new release of it since 2008.
Okay. Yep.
But everyone's been wanting another one. Never made one. They made a remaster of it. What's up?
I can just hear people talking.
Oh. And
man, this is all gone south.
There's 7 people that helped make Burnout, which is a AAA big game back then.
Yeah.
Made a game called Dangerous Driving, and it looks amazing. I've got it. It would cost me 30 quid to buy, so it wasn't full 50 quid game. And 7 people made it.
Made by 7 guys, huh?
7 people. And then there's other games out there. There's a game that's been made by one guy that was huge. It was an indie game, so it wasn't graphically.
They surely make that game on a platform, so they're not making that game from scratch. They're making that game with some sort of a software.
Usually Unreal Engine.
Yeah.
You can download it. Me or you could.
Sure.
Like,
and you could then learn how to do it. Yeah, right.
And things like that. But we could download it and just build a game inside it.
Very cool.
So that's free for anyone to do.
This is one of the things I love about open source platforms like WordPress, right? Like, anybody can, or I mean, forget like websites like Wix or like any of these other platforms, but just having open source information.
Yeah.
Right. It's what people do with it. That's amazing. And if gaming then goes that same way, imagine an open source platform that is there that everybody contributes to, and you can get, people building on top of that platform. It's incredible. It's like
someone's got the talent to do it.
Yeah.
Like, and that a lot of people have used like this Unreal Engine and recreated old retro games in it, but with a modern take.
Sure.
And it looks like they could be released. Obviously, they can't be released because of licensing laws and things like that. If you're going to recreate Legends of Zelda,
yeah, you can't get away with it. Right?
Nintendo aren't going to just go, okay, release that and make money off of it.
As you wish, please carry on.
But some of the things that people have done in the Unreal Engine is awesome.
Wow, man, that's pretty hip, actually, isn't it?
It's crazy. But that's, again, it comes back to like you saying you wish you didn't go to uni. I did graphic design at uni. YouTube's here now. You could just learn. But it's the same with that. Like, you've got the access to build games. If you've got the drive to do it, then you can do it.
You can do it, man.
You don't necessarily have to go to uni to become a games designer or things like that.
That's the exciting thing about this time, you know. So this is an argument for universal credit, right? Potentially, no.
Don't know.
Yeah. So one of the things that I think about universal credit. So I keep hearing this term universal credit kicked around quite a bit.
Yeah.
And I think to myself instantly, right? I equate it to the drive that you would have to do something. So I don't know about yourself, but I'm speaking personally here for me. Okay. I haven't always found my passions, right? You still got to eat. You still got to provide for your families. You still got to do all these things. So the argument behind universal credit would be that you always have a gateway by which you can take care of yourself and make sure the lights are turned on.
Yeah.
And that will allow you to find your passion and do what you want to do, and you'll be able to then, you know, put your skills towards something that will make a difference.
Yeah.
Right. I look at it completely different when I hear something like that, because I think, okay, we have all these tools, we have all this information, this knowledge, these platforms. If I didn't have to survive and I knew I was getting enough money in the kitty every month to keep me and the family happy, would I have the wherewithal to go out and push the boundaries? I don't always think that's the case. Now, again, this is me talking personally. I think that I have that slovenly gene in me that would, if I knew that I had, that society was going to take care of me, whether I was, so call it the social or whatever you want to call it. I don't think that I would have the same kind of...
You wouldn't have the drive to need to do it.
Yeah, I wouldn't have the gumption to want to change things. I mean, although that's not my motivator for any of the business. I mean, I've always started loads of different crap because I like the building a project.
Yeah.
Okay, but I haven't built a project in my life that didn't have that reward attached to it, which led me to build that project. Okay. Yeah. So like when I hear somebody say like, oh man, you know, you find your passion and do this and do that. And if money's your motivator, you're in the wrong thing and doing this. I think to myself, that's absolute horseshit. I think, of course, that's your motivation can be whatever. It can be what, but at the end of the day, you know that you're doing what you do.
It leads to money.
Yeah. Leads to money. And you'll never hear anybody say that.
Yeah.
Who doesn't need the money anymore, right?
Yeah.
They know that they have to, you know. So okay, maybe I'm being a little too black and white with that argument, but that's one of the things about universal credit where I just think I just can't see it working. I can see it working if it's a helping hand.
Yeah.
So for instance, let's say that everybody gets an extra 600 quid a month to do what they need to do. The reality of the situation is most of those people who get that 600 quid a month are going to use it to survive.
Yeah.
And they're going to use it to top up their already maybe shit wages or shit skill sets or whatever. But they're not going to use that. It doesn't unlock all the potential that I see with it. So that's why I just can't get my head around universal credit. So I know that we kind of transitioned to that in a weird way.
Yeah, no, I kind of know what you mean.
You know what I mean? Like
will it actually give, if you've got it coming in, is there any motivation to change it?
It's one of those big questions that I have about how you can do this. So for instance, if that, what was the system that they're all building the games on?
Oh, Unreal Engine.
Right. So if Real Engine didn't exist and these 7 chaps didn't have this platform with which they can use to build this,
they probably didn't.
Would they have done it?
I couldn't tell you, but I suppose that means if they had to pay, if it was under license or you had to pay to be able to use it or build a game in it, and then pay royalties for it afterwards. Probably not. But
then the opposite end of the argument for open source or things, and again, I'm bouncing all over the fucking place with my conversation here, so I apologize, and I apologize for the language. But one of the arguments would be, if that didn't exist,
would it have happened?
Would it have happened? And then if you had universal credit, would you still have enough gumption, like, to go out and do what you needed to do?
Yeah.
I think it would be a detractor from a lot of people's psyche. Is that the way human beings are built? Because I don't know necessarily if that's how it is.
Yeah.
So I started off with my major passion in life was music.
Yeah.
There's 2 reasons why I didn't stick with music for my whole entire life. the biggest one, besides my skill set, wasn't up to scratch, and I knew that I was never really that great a musician, was that I wanted to pay the bills. So I drifted away from music.
Yeah.
I couldn't, as a young man, I can remember I had the most passionate lessons with this great instructor who I totally worshiped the ground he walked on. You know, when he played, I was just in another world. I loved what was going on. But at the same time, I can remember I had this hustle to start. I had a lawn care business. I had all these other things that I'd started when I was in university because I had all these other ambitions. And I just don't know how those things all fit together.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, although what I do now I love more the process of building something, not necessarily the end outcome. You know what I mean? Like, so that's just how I am as a person.
It's going to come down to
Sorry,
the person.
I'm turning this into a minor therapy session in a way, but
I have to lay down.
But this is the thing about having a forum where I can sit down and discuss these kind of things with somebody who we've never had these kind of conversations.
No.
So I love the fact that this happens, right? So again, it's kind of like self-meditation or self-reflection, all based in a conversation about whatever. So those kind of things are interesting to me, right?
It's all going to come down to individuality, though, isn't it? There's always that question: what would you do if you won the Euro Millions? If you never had to worry about money in your life, like you say, would your passion still be your passion, or would it be, I've got enough money to live now, I'll just live?
Yeah. See, I don't know. I think
You probably don't see you in that situation.
I think that if I won the Euro Millions, I would probably be one of. Well, no, I can't even say that. Look, if we're being honest here, right? I probably would end up in Monaco smoking cigars and eating myself to an early grave. I'd probably have more cocaine and whatever. I'd be like one of those guys that gets monster trucks and buys a compound and all that kind of shit.
And then we'll see you back here the week afterwards.
There's a part of me that says that. But then there's another part of me that goes, how amazing would it be to be one of those people that if you won the Euro Millions, you kept enough money to buy a house, pay for your kids' educations, and give you a helping hand in the life that you're living. And then you could take the rest of that wealth and you could really make an impact with other people. Yeah, I would love to think that I was the latter of those two animals. I would love to think that if I had a windfall like that, and one day suddenly I had 40 million in the bank.
But remember, there's interest as well. So obviously, if you won the Euro Millions, you get taxed.
You're being practical about that. So yeah, you put $1 million in the bank at 2%, and you're making the same salary that most people live on now.
Exactly. But no, your daily interest could be up to like 15 grand. I think there was one Euro Millions jackpot. There was something stupid like that. It was about 3 or 4 years ago. It like rolled over so
quite
much.
A large one, yeah.
Like your daily interest would be 15,000. It's like, how would you can't even 15 grand a day. Would you honestly even touch your winnings?
Look, I'd love to have a go at trying, man. I'd love to have a go at trying to spend that kind of dough. But I would like to think that I was of the latter, and I'd like to think that I'd try to help as many people as possible outside of your own family and all that. I mean, this is kind of a hypothetical dream situation.
Yeah, I know what you mean. Yeah.
But I would love to. I would probably
make an impact in the world. A good one.
Okay, so this goes hand in hand with what we're saying. So I think, honestly, I would probably try to parlay some of that into another business and build something else, because I think that's in my nature. So I probably would still want to do that. Like, for instance, I don't know about how you feel about it, but I don't think I'm the kind of person who's ever going to retire. I don't look forward to retirement.
I do like keeping busy. I mean, I've not even thought about it.
Yeah.
I've not really... I mean, I'm way too far off, or I might not even get there.
The quietest I've been in my adult life is lockdown, and even then, I've been busy with projects and other stuff that I'm doing. So if I had that kind of means and that kind of thing, would I take it further? I don't know if I would, bro. I think I'd probably still try to do what I'm doing now, but I wouldn't have that pressure.
Yeah, I would probably just maybe streaming much harder.
Yeah, so maybe we've come full circle in this whole entire hypothetical situation. And maybe what people say is true. Maybe it is your passions, and maybe it is. Yeah. Yeah, because I mean, obviously, you don't stream for any kind of delusions of grandeur. You don't want to be a typical gamer or whoever. You do it because you enjoy it, right? Famous. Oh, I'd hate fame.
I wouldn't like to be famous. I don't think. I don't mind like being known and but it's a good thing. Like we were talking about the casuals club community. It's a good feeling when everyone's together and things like that. And everyone's talking from different parts of the world. And you're like thinking, I had my hand in putting all this together. It's a nice feeling.
Yeah, that's good. Yeah, that's good.
So, and I like doing that, and that's why I'm in and out of there every day.
Huh.
I'll be there later on tonight.
Yeah, so you do that as a passion.
Yeah.
Even though you don't get anything from it. So
But that's the thing. Like, I mean, without the, obviously I bought a built PC and things like that, it doesn't cost anything.
So perhaps the point of this whole conversation and the argument is not about the means or the passion. It's all just comes down to time.
Yeah.
So my biggest bee in my bonnet when it came to wanting to build things or take one of my new ideas forward is I just have to have the time to manage my bandwidth so that I know that I can do this in this block of time before we run out of money, right?
Yeah.
So any business, right? So we know that we've got a pot that's this big. As a business, we're going to try to keep that pot at the same size whilst paying our staff and our employees. And as long as our pot stays that big, we're living the dream because time has allowed us to do what we're doing, to build a product, to build a functionality, to build an idea. So is it that, or is it the pursuit of...
Yeah, I see what you mean.
You see what I'm saying, right?
But
so it's
having
maybe,
the money
so maybe it's a
free
time thing. So
it does definitely is.
So this is it. So
frees up the time.
So for all those tools that say money don't buy you happiness and all that, well, money will allow you to pursue your passions.
Yeah.
So perhaps universal income then frees up time from a 9 to 5. So maybe the argument goes full circle, right?
Yeah.
So this is what I mean about this is what I'm saying about about how I wanted to talk through things and change my own ideas and my own perceptions. I'm trying so hard as I get older to not be married to a right or a stance. You know what I mean? Within reason. If it's right or wrong, if it's a moral stance, that's easy because morality is although it's individual, it's something that I know what I think is right and I know what I think is wrong, and half the time I'm not going to be swayed from that. But I'm trying not to be married to those kind of things. Which brings me back to the point of consumerism. Yeah. And how even though I've got all these trinkets around me and I love to collect art, I love to collect all kinds of stuff. I got my casino chip collection. I've got all these collections, right? Like as I get older, I think that that's probably not the way of the future because I'm getting more practical with how I should do things. Like as a side note to that, I can remember when I got my first watch.
Yeah. Do you still have that watch?
And not my first watch. I meant my first watch. Yeah. Like my first Rolex. Yeah. Right. For years, I've kind of I thought, okay, sorry, my second watch. So many years ago, I had a watch when I was making loads of dough when I was younger that I really loved, but I didn't keep it. I sold it because of issues. Yep. But again, at this stage in the game, I can remember when I got my first Rolex, right? And I thought, I want a Rolex. Yeah. I'm going to go and I'm going to get a Rolex. I thought, I got the money in the bank. Bro, I'm going to treat myself. This is it. Boom, I'm down. So I go to this dealer. We're about to get on a ship in Southampton. And I'm like, excuse me, would you happen to have a Submariner? And the girl looked at me like I was on planet Mars, bro. She was like, we don't have a supply of that. It's a 2-year waiting list, blah, blah, blah. The game, right?
Yeah,
the whole supply and demand game. And I can remember I finally had the money to get what I wanted. And I wanted it. But then I couldn't get it. So then I wanted it more. Right? Yeah. And then when I had it, I thought, this is nice. It's a beautiful, amazing thing. And I wanted another one. And so I kind of went on this spree where I wanted to collect watches. And then one day, I got this watch. And this watch was like $75 on eBay. Okay. It's a Seiko diver's watch for anybody who knows diving and watches. They know that this is like the most mass-produced dive watch ever. But it's reliable, it's a beater, it's great, it's fantastic. And this thing does everything that first Rolex, my real watch, does. Yeah. And I thought to myself at the time, okay, that cost that, this cost this. This is crazy. And that was like my first eye-opening experience to asking myself, why did I want this item? Was it because I appreciated that it was a beautiful Swiss timepiece, that it was made, by trolls in Switzerland who never came out of caves, or whatever made it special, right? I joke, obviously, but
They
you know
are
what I mean.
Handmade though. Aren't they?
Yeah, so handmade, like legacy, blah blah blah, all the things that are around horology and things that we love.
Yeah.
Or was it? I didn't want a cock piece. I didn't want to go around going like, yo, check out. I didn't want to flex or whatever the kids say these days. But I still wanted this nice item.
Yeah.
And then once I acquired it, I realized that does the same as this.
Mm-hmm.
Now I know that sounds like kind of like a BS conversation, but I relegated all of my watches, and now I don't have it. I don't have any but this, and I've got one really nice dress watch.
So how long did you have the watches, or did?
So this was over a 3-year period.
Okay, fair enough.
Basically, so for 3 years, I decided I was going to collect all these watches, and I still appreciate. I appreciate it. I'm passionate about it. My Instagram's filled with them.
Yep.
My latest business has to do with watches. But for me as an individual, I see how great they are, and I appreciate them for what they are.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm trying to be practical, and I don't know why. So again, this is like my therapy session, right? So even though I want one, and I see a new one that comes out, like I'll see this Audemars Peugeot that's like amazing, that's like a $25,000 watch with a blue face that's very sought after.
Does what that does.
You know what I mean? It still does exactly what that does. So
but that happens. That's not just watches, and that's with anything that anyone.
It happens with everything, man. Cars,
phones. Oh, it's mental.
Phones.
The amount of people that
don't
come
even
in
get me started.
that have to have the latest one, which a phone a fraction of the price does the same thing.
It drives me nuts.
Yeah.
Like the iPhone upgrades. Why do you want another iPhone? Well, this one's got a 75 milliamp, whatever, blah, blah, blah. It does this. And I'm like, well, did you ever use it on the last one? No, but that one will have it on there.
Yeah.
It's the same thing with technology. It's the same thing with ones.
It's do it in video games.
And video games will be exactly the same thing.
The one thing, so Mario's 35th anniversary this year, as we said beforehand. Might have been off camera. When the Super Nintendo was out, they had Super Mario All-Stars, which was Mario 1, 2, and 3 in one game.
Sure, yeah.
Last week, they announced Super Mario 3D All-Stars for the Nintendo Switch, which is Super Mario 64, Super Mario Sunshine, and Super Mario Galaxy from the N64, GameCube, and the Wii. But they've only said they're going to release it from this coming Friday to the 31st of March, and it's gone forever. They've immediately created demand.
Supply and demand, bro. Yeah, exactly.
And I've got mine pre-ordered. They said physical edition. That was it. I was in pre-ordered within about 2 minutes,
right,
as I could. So mine's locked in, a product direct from Nintendo. But you can go on eBay now, and people are selling their pre-orders for triple the price, quadruple the price.
Dude, what was the game? Help me out. The app that was like super popular, Flappy Birds, right?
They're selling the phones.
Like, and then all of a sudden, all these people had these shitty old iPhones that had Flappy Birds on them, but it became a commodity. It's the same with so many things in our lives. And again, that's just the way it is. It's human nature, and it's an interesting thing to reflect on personally and society wise.
Yeah.
Now the thing is, we can have this conversation, and both of us may walk out of here and somebody may be listening to this and they'll go, bullshit. Or we can have this conversation and hopefully think twice the next time. Like I would really hope that the next time I want to buy something, I'll go, do I really need that? Like these are the things that I'd love to teach my kids.
Yeah.
I'd love to teach practicality, but I can't practice what I preach because
I can feel it.
Yeah. You know what I mean? So yeah, interesting, man. That's a great thing about.
I always do that. Do I need this? Most of the time, it's no, and I still buy it.
But it's consumerism.
Yeah, exactly. But again, going back to video games, this game has come out, and they're only doing a limited. This is digital as well, by the way.
Yeah.
So physical release and digital release. Retailers are already pulling out because they can't get enough orders.
Crazy.
And they're. Obviously, digital will be unlimited amount. So we're thinking, why are they going to pull the digital version in March?
So really, the only reason they're not selling more digital versions, it's probably not a server or a bandwidth issue, right?
No,
it could be though, right?
There is. I can't think of any reason why. I can understand they might do a limited run of the physical edition of the game.
No, surely the cloud and whatever the cloud or their server will only allow a certain number of a certain amount of bandwidth,
But
and it's a win-win for them because one, they can cut the game off, so it means the server won't be overloaded, and two, it will create that demand. So either way, it's a win-win. Maybe they didn't do it intentionally.
For them, maybe. Well, for them, definitely. But the only reason I can think of, like, because saying that if their servers can't handle it, which I know they can, and it will be fine.
Yeah, sure.
Why aren't they doing that with the other games? Like,
I just playing devil's advocate.
yeah,
really.
But if that was an issue, they'd be doing that with other games. But the only thing I can think of is because this is a three games in one, and you buy $49.99. You know, after March, they'll leave it for a few months, maybe a year, and then release them all individually at 25 quid each.
See, and this is what I struggle with, right? Because I love that. I love it. I love the fact that not everybody, because I suppose this is what makes it a thing, right? When I had the money to buy that watch, I love the fact that not everybody can have that watch.
Yeah.
I love the fact that you can buy that watch for, say, for instance, at the time it was like 5,700 pounds, right? The day you walk out of the shop, you can walk down the street to a reseller and you can sell that watch for 8,500.
Yep.
Right? It's the same thing with games like that. It's the same thing with sneakers. So, look at shoes, look at Jordans, or Jordan's probably or Jordan's a good example, but probably a relevant example would be Yeezy, right? Yeah, so these Yeezys come out, they're a limited run. Not everybody can have them.
They look horrible.
You've got to. I haven't bought a pair of shoes in a year that hasn't been on some sort of a lottery or a first come first serve. The other day I tried to buy a pair of shoes. It was 30 seconds. The shoes were gone. I was on the sneakers app, right? 30 seconds later, shoes are sold out, bro.
That actually
Done.
baffles me. I mean, I can understand why.
I
it's
get
like
it.
me with video games, but why it happens. I kind of got the Air Jordans as well, especially like in the height of his fame.
I love it. I love that kind of stuff.
But it's just if they're putting like a time limit on it, and you want to be that person to have it when someone else doesn't, it's like I've got one.
So here's the thing about this kind of situation, right? So I love that. So I hate parts of it because I hate the consumerism and the collecting and all those kind of things. But then on the other end of it, as a businessman and as a person or an individual, I love the exclusivity.
Yeah.
I just love so much about it, right? I love
like
how it's all set up.
Own gratification.
Yeah, man. Like when I see something like that happen, and I think, oh wow, as a brand, they pulled that off. They pull it off, whether or not it's good or bad. I think it's harmless, bro. It's harmless. So what I'm talking about is it's a pair of shoes or it's a watch or is it really that big a deal if that's what a hardworking adult wants to spend their money on?
Yeah.
Probably not. But what I don't want to see on the other end of it is if the kids come to me like Jacob has. That's my son, by the way. I'll throw his name out there. I probably won't delete that. But right, my boy has more Fortnite skins than I have socks. Okay, and he wants another one every time it comes out.
Yeah. So
is it practical? I'm trying to teach him that it's not practical. Look, son, why do you want another skin? The skin you've got now is perfectly good.
Yeah.
You can play. Is it going to make you play the game better? Do you get any benefits? Getting a new pickaxe. Is it a better pickaxe? Will you be able to harvest faster?
Yeah.
Will you be able to? No, Dad. Well, why do you want one then? Because look at it. It's so cool. It's amazing. That kind of stuff, right? So it's interesting how, as part of life's journey, you want to install that in your friends and family. But then, bro, if those new Travis Scott Happy Meals hit McDonald's, I'm going to go and I'm going to show up and I'm going to try to get one, right? Or whatever, right? It's I find that kind of stuff absolutely incredible with life and with the journey we take as human beings, you know. Whether it's shells on the beach to this, it's the same thing.
Exactly right. But I think it's all about the experience of all of this, as well as everything changing. If you see what I mean.
Which is an interesting thing about life's journey.
Yeah. I mean, like I say, the way everything's works at the moment, and it's changed over the last 10 years, and will in the next 10 years, whether we want it to or not in like retail industry life, it's going to happen. And you're just going to go with it.
And there will be loads of positives that will come from that.
Oh, yeah.
I mean?
Yeah.
Again, I don't think it's not life-changing. It's not like that's the other weird thing. It's all like the stuff we're talking about is not life-changing.
It's first world problems.
Yeah, none of it makes any. This is all Western first world problems.
Yeah.
Literally. Yeah. Imagine people today that are thinking, fucking hell, how am I going to do this, this, and this?
Yeah.
And here we are having this conversation. So that's perspective, and that's what I like about having these kind of discussions.
Yeah.
And for that, I thank you, my friend. Yeah. It's been great having you on. I think we'll call it at that. Right?
I've enjoyed myself. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, thanks, man. It's a couple hours, and it's great. And we'll do it again, please, if you want.
Yeah.
And hey, look, bring the guys next time. I'll get some more microphones and we'll set them up.
Yeah, if you want me to, I'll bring Jack along.
Yeah, let's do it, man.
Dan lives in Yorkshire somewhere.
Okay.
So Dan, hurry up.
He's in a cave in Yorkshire like Batman. I dig it. Yeah, but definitely thanks again, and till next time, guys. This is the one. Now let's see if I can figure this out on the way out.
How many button presses this time?
Oh, bro, nailed it. Right on. Thanks, dude.
No worries. It's been a pleasure.